Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 376 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. Lots of big milestones in the last week we got to get to. We had a coach toss for the first time in about 4 years, a double hat trick over the weekend. Tons more to get to. Let's check in with the fellas first. Mikey Granley, you all recuperated from Vegas? I know it's been a while. I haven't seen you for a bit.
All recuperated and super happy because RA's got himself a new mic, which makes my job a bit easier. So I'm happy. But also, some people may be asking, why is Granelli wearing a Danbury Trashers jersey? Because we just released a ton more Danbury Trashers merch in the Barstool store. So go there right now and buy it.
New mic. How about the new couch on the guy?
Yeah, well, this is a loaner. I still didn't get my recliner, but I dug out the Halo light he sent me ages ago. I bought a couple new rugs to suck up the echo, and he said it worked. So I'm getting used to it, Biz. You know, I've been doing it so long the same way, and it's like it gets in your head. You know what I mean? It's a new mic. I'm not used to holding it. I'm in a different position and shit. So I'll be good. I'll be good. Just a little.
I would hope so. What you just described isn't exactly crazy. You're
well, you know me and my
seat. You're holding a different mic, and there's a light in your face. So
dude, I do math in my head all day, guy. I'm you know my OCD fucking tendencies.
Like, what do you mean you do math in your head all day?
Like when I was a kid, I would just like do numbers in my head until like the answer come out with like an 8 in it, man. I had fucking
Whoa.
Are you saying you're a number savant? Have you lost it?
No, I was like, no,
are you
simple,
Rain
basic
Man?
math. No, I think I had like before, like it was called OCD and that shit. I probably definitely had it as a kid because I would just do like, if I saw numbers, I would add them up and I would keep multiplying until the answer had an 8 in it. And fucking.
So when I used to call myself the math guy, in the end, if you saw like the number 4 and the number 3, you'd go to 7, and then you'd have to multiply it until you got the 8
20.
In the end.
Well, just in the answer. So like 7 times 14, then 14, 28, boom, and then and then.
Not a big
I'm
deal.
off till the next time.
Not a big deal. Holy shit.
I don't know when it stopped
over here.
No, it was like a whatever. It's something with my brain because it stopped at a certain point. But like, I used to like be at a weird
say that again.
Yeah, I think the marijuana probably ended up making that stop. But I love the new loaner coach, and I love the shades, and I love the new mic, and it's kind of a new RA, even though everything's kind of rented. So shout out you, buddy.
Actually, I should say a loaner. It was when my old man moved. It was he didn't want to take it, so I took it. So like, because I was still waiting on mine. I just needed a couch. I still haven't got it. Ordered it in November. Still hasn't gotten here yet. So I needed something to sit on. And I looked like shit, so I threw the shades on.
I see the AC or the heat in the background. Does that have to be ending in a number 8?
That's funny, dude. Like, know it. If I'm going to like in the high 60s, I'll put it on 68. But if I'm feeling a little frisky, I'll put it on 69.
Ooh,
but usually I do put it on 68. And when I put the volume on my TV, it's I don't put it on an even number. It's always on an odd number. It's always on an even number when I put like the volume.
Aside from getting the show all ready to go, RA, what else have you been up to in the last week since we last talked?
Let's not much, man. I just kind of took it easy. I didn't go out this week. I went down and watched some hockey games. I didn't drink really. I kind of been taking it easy, just kind of chilling, relaxing. So what I do? I wrote a couple. The blog, Jason Robertson blog. We'll get to that in a little bit. The John Belushi stuff. His anniversary was the other day. He was like a comic hero of mine. But no, I just kind of relaxing, just kind of chilling, giving a little mental break.
So he died extremely young. Then how old was he when he passed?
33 years old. He was super.
Oh my god, he was only that young.
Yeah. That was like
but he was big into like the hard drugs, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, speedball. He died. Yeah, he was just like, and I just reckless. He stopped once in a while. Then he just couldn't end up stopping. But I mean, he was Animal House, Blues Brothers, Saturday Night Live. He was the king, man. He was the king.
What exactly is speed? Is it like a mix of coke with something?
Speedball. Yeah, it's coke and heroin. Like,
why are you laughing, Grinnell? Sorry, I don't know every fucking drug in the drug tree.
In the RA drug tree.
I've never speedballed. I've never done dope. That's when I'm not going to cop to that shit.
You ever done blades?
Blades? What are they?
I think when you
that's the Bruins mascot's name.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Yeah. Hey, you had a pretty busy week though. I think since we last talked, you went on Bussing with the Boys. Well, at least that episode was released. Over 2 hours, tons of feedback from that, some hilarious stories. I'm pretty sure most of which everybody who listens to this podcast has heard. Was there one that they ended up drawing out of you that you'd completely forgotten about and then that you ended up telling?
I don't even really remember the interview as of now. I mean, I remember being there and everything. And a lot of people are like, you were loaded. I had 2 beers with my brother and then went over there. So, RA, I feel kind of like you. I'm getting ultra sensitive. I was dead sober pretty much. But the interview was awesome. Those guys have such a good setup. I don't remember any stories that I told that haven't been discussed on this, which is kind of funny because you go on other podcasts and you feel like such an idiot because if fans of Chiclets went and listened, you're like, oh my God, they're probably like, shut up. I've heard this story 15 times.
Fucking Aldo again.
No, Aldo did not come up.
Well, you have to tell it for every store there was at West Edmonton Mall. So he's probably actually still under the number here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that when that finished, I knew it was fun because we just were laughing the entire time. Great guys. They got a great setup. So that was a lot of fun. And then I went on this week's Barstool Chicago does the dog walk snake draft every Monday. They drop it. This was my second appearance. I have gone on and dominated those 4 guys now twice, and it's almost to the point where they shouldn't even have me on again because I'm coming on, I'm making them all look like fools, and then just out drafting the whole city of Chicago in 1 hour. So I had a blast doing it. It was douchebag moves, which was kind of brought about in a different way because you kind of could say like an asshole move is the same thing as a douchebag move. Like I didn't really understand the difference if there is one, but I went on and you go give it a listen, everyone. Barstool Chicago dog walk Monday. And I think you'll agree that I really did shove those 4 in a locker, which is pretty much what everyone's done to White Sox Dave his entire life, a little midget.
So the category was already picked. Were the scumbag moves already on the list, which you could draft them, or you had to think of them?
I actually think, I'm not even joking. You made five picks each, and it was anything. There's not on the board. You come with the picks, right? So douchebag moves. So my douchebag moves where I went taking your dog for a walk and not picking up his shit, which RA has brought up a ton and grinds his gears.
Yep.
My other one was
you're welcome, RA.
My other one was this is pathetic that I
grind
can't
everyone's
even,
gears.
I can't even think of it all of them right now. One of them was when you get up when the airplane. You land and then the seatbelt light goes off. So it's time to get up, right? They've opened the door where you're going to be able to exit the plane. Everyone knows there's some people who get up and try to run ahead for aisles to just get a little extra room. And I also mentioned if it's somebody who's looking to catch a connecting flight, it doesn't count. I've seen people do this all the time. It completely drives me insane. I did this 4 days ago, and I can't even think of my other 3 picks right now.
Yeah, man, you're losing it a little bit now. I've experienced one of the things that RA has also mentioned on the podcast recently when I was flying to Atlanta. By the way, can I get a little intro, RA?
Yeah. Next up is boy Paul Biznasty Bissonnette.
I was pretty. It's actually happened back-to-back pods now. I was a little critical of your comments about having cats on planes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sure as shit. 2 fucking cats on my plane coming here. But I sent the videos to the group chat. Those things, I don't know if I'm beginning to think that the altitude fucks with them in a sense. You know, when your ears get all plugged up, they can't unpop them,
chew
right?
Wrigley's.
They can't chew gum. They can't suck on some candy in order to pop them. So all of a sudden they just start meow, 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 non-fucking stop.
Wow,
so I don't think there's a
flight?
solution of putting them underneath, because if you put the cats underneath, next thing you know, they're taxidermied when they're coming out because they're done. So I don't know what they're going to do as far as regulations, but if you're not going to allow dogs to fly on planes, I think there's not a chicken dick's chance they should allow cats to fly on planes.
But dogs can fly on planes. The little ones can.
I think that they've really, really cracked down on the fact that dogs, because everybody was going to their what do you call a doctor, a animal doctor?
Yeah, but
a veterinarian.
Yeah,
what are those animal doctors called?
Well, sometimes I get caught on words.
I can't even remember. I can't even remember my douchebag draft. But my in-laws, they just took their dog Lulu on the plane the other day home to Boston from Florida. It's a little dog, but they have the carrier, and it's not an emotional support or whatever you call those.
Yeah.
I think what has happened is people were abusing where you could go into the vet and get the special written permission, and everybody's got a friend who's a vet. So everybody all of a sudden has been flying with their pets. So some airlines have cracked down and saying that they legitimately have to be some sort of support animal from maybe somebody who's lost their sight, or somebody who, maybe for whatever reason, RA.
People, you can go on websites and order a thing, and it says, oh, like emotional support dog, but that's not a medical thing. Like the only ones that aliens have to abide by under the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, like guide dogs, like people who genuinely need them. They're trained dogs, not someone that ordered a fucking $10 bracelet on and put it on a chihuahua and says I can't fly without it. People just they take advantage of it. I mean, I would probably do the same thing if I had a dog. I wouldn't want to put it underneath, but that's right. The solution is simple: just animal flights. That's all. If you fly on an animal, get on an animal flight. There's enough people to fly with them.
One more thing that grinds my gears is no cannabis. It's not legalized in the state of Georgia. So I'm on a little bit of a dry spell. I'm going to set out the bat signal, kind of like RA does. If anybody's in the Atlanta area, if you could help me out a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sure that's a real tough place to get weed. Yeah, there's 4,000 wrappers per every square mile. Also, my quick thing about cats: if you want to do what's right and you have a cat, just take the thing and throw it off the top of a building. They're the worst animals in the world. Get rid of it. It's absolute dog shit if you have a cat. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, you got serious issues if you're a cat owner. And
Malcolm's a cat guy.
Exactly.
What if I need to find a bunch of rapper buddies, maybe get me some beats and start spitting some hot fire? Because maybe I could come out with our own little rap. So I mean, the PMT boys came out with a rap. I'm pretty sure.
To Atlanta where the players play. I'm sure you can find some weed any day. Your biz nasty what? Biz nasty who? Go get that stuff and smoke it to your woo woo. That's kind of my shit. Oh shit! Absolutely. Right now. I've actually gone. I'm on day 6 of no marijuana, and I feel great.
Wow. I feel bad for you.
No, I wasn't even feeling.
Is that why you're whispering
anymore.
This whole episode?
No, so funny reason why I'm whispering. I am right now. I'm in the office of a certain legend. His name's Terry Tedeschi. My good friend Bill Ryan and my good friend Chris Donnelly. They married sisters, Nina Tedeschi and her sister Lee Tedeschi. Well, their names are now Nina Ryan and Lee Donnelly. Those are my buddies' names. But the family, the Tedeschi family, they live in Fort Lauderdale in the winter. So my internet hasn't been working at the house. I rented the biggest piece of shit house in the state of Florida, and that's including the city of Daytona. It's a disgrace what's happened. And so I finally had the internet come over and get fixed. I did the dog walk snake draft. It worked great. I go to sign on today. It doesn't work. So I called Terry in kind of a panic. I said, Terry, I need internet right now. Can I come over? He's the nicest human being in the world. He said, yeah, come on over. I got an office. Well, I came over to the office, but his son Terrence, he's here with his kids. So I'm whispering. I'm kind of like, I don't want to keep everyone awake. There's doors. It's just like, well, it's not nap time. It's 6:13 p.m. But I am whispering a little bit to try to hold my own and not get kicked out of this beautiful house in Fort Lauderdale.
Wait till we get to the Leafs chatter. No, motherfucker, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Just like, oh, they're like having a dinner party in there. That's pretty much all I got. I'm in Atlanta for the next month. I'm really happy to be here. And now that they're doing the Sunday broadcast for TNT, I can't be doing 4 trips cross country. I've been, I'm not gonna lie, boys, the travel's been kicking me in the dick a little bit. So I'm excited to be here for the next month. My girl's coming in, bringing Lloyd and me starting again.
Are you at a hotel or did they put you up in an apartment or something?
No, I rented a house just like Whit. I'm hoping the Wi-Fi is good. They've assured me that it's great. So we won't be having any issues like maybe potentially being late to sign on for Dustin Johnson interview.
Oh, I mean, we'll get to that interview later. We'll get to that interview later, boys. We boys and girls, whoever's listening. The funny thing that happened to me this week was, so the golf cart, we have a golf cart with the rental house. It's the only good thing about the rental house. Seats 2, 4, 6 seats, like 8 people too. No, 6, I think. So it's a blast because I just drive around everywhere. Because it has the license plate, you can drive it anywhere in Fort Lauderdale. I haven't been in my car. I just drive the golf cart. So the other day we had myself, my wife, our 2 kids, my buddy Mike Shaw, his wife, and then their daughter Joey, and we're all driving to dinner, and my mom, and we're all driving to dinner. We're at a stoplight, and these 2 girls who I'm guessing were 21, although now like girls who are 21 look like 15 to me. I guess that shows how old I'm getting. No. But they're like, is that Ryan Whitney? I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, I'm like, you guys hockey fans? They're like, no, we're Pink Whitney fans. I was like, oh my God. It was on the corner in Fort Lauderdale by the sea, and it's spring break. I was like, oh geez, back in the day, this would have been a time. But I was shocked. I was shocked to get recognized by couple teeny boppers who were crushing the pink white.
Hey, you've come a long way, man, from getting pigeon tossed by Fudge Kid to 21-year-old smoke shows recognize you in your golf cart, man. So little round of applause for the wit dog here.
You don't think Fudge Kid's planning something else for me? He's probably like 16 by now, by the way.
Yeah.
Biz, I actually forgot one thing I did do last week before I kind of took it easy. I went to the movies and saw The Godfather. They were doing a 50th anniversary showing for like a week. I never saw it in the theater, so I went and checked out The Godfather in the theater. Good. I mean, I've seen it fucking 38 times.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
Number 2 is the best movie of all time. I like 2 better.
Yeah. A lot of people do, and I don't argue it. It's like, either.
But you like 1 better?
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's not. I'm not going to die on either hill. They're both fucking fantastic movies.
And you're a guy who will die on some crazy ass hills.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some shit grinds my gears, boys. You know that. Wait, you just mentioned Dustin Johnson, the world famous golfer. We got some time with him earlier in the week or last week or whatever it was. And we also have the budding superstar of the Dallas Stars, Jason Robertson, back-to-back hat tricks this weekend. Kid is unreal. What do you have? 100 points in his first 101 games on an absolute tear. So we were able to get some time with him a while back. We're going to get to them a little bit later. Just want to let you know what's coming. What do you got, Biz?
And may I remind everyone, we had him on, I would say about 10 days to 2 weeks ago. So this is in fact a Chiclets bump with the back-to-back Hatties. This is we got him on before. We didn't get to talk about that, but had a great conversation with this young up-and-comer, and we're excited. Jam-packed episode with the interview, so we just got to bring the noise now.
Absolutely. Well, we're at the sports doldrums a little bit this time of year. The weather kind of sucks in this neck of the woods, so cheer yourself up by heading over to your local bar and snagging some Pink Whitney. It's the premier pink lemonade flavored vodka on the planet. So go out and get some. The fine Pink Whitney.
One of the main sponsors in G. I'm going to throw it over to you. I don't think you've ever been this excited for videos to come out on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, the Big Deal Selects. We dropped the vlog this past week, and it was awesome of Biz and Pasha sneaking down to the NHL, sneaking down in the locker rooms. But we have the Big Deal Selects video coming next week, and I can't stress enough how good of a job our video editor Sean Apuzzo did on this. It's unlike any type of video we've ever really dropped before. The production level is just 10x what we've done. It's kind of like a sandbagger, but hockey version, but ball hockey, because just with all the mics, all the different cameras. So that's going to be releasing next week. So we're super excited for that.
Yeah, we got 2 episodes. And the good news is it's not a sandbagger, so it won't be all EDM songs that were edited by Pasha. So if you like music other than EDM, and who's the one fucking group he's always putting in there songs like that?
Zachariah. He loves Zachariah.
Are people messing with me who write me what's the song on the Sandbaggers? Is that like an inside joke to viewers?
No, some of them like the. I'm trying to think of the band he's always
because
talking about.
It's because a lot of the music we get made custom music. So when people go to search this music or they Shazam it or whatever, they can't find it because it's custom made just for the Sandbaggers. Not a big deal.
Okay, all right. So yeah, but I always thought I'm like, how are so many people asking about what the song is? What's this music? But I understand now. They're just interested in kind of into our beats that are rocking those golf shots. Oh, I'm back. Played the other day, shot 75. Then the next day or 2 days later, I shot 76, kind of striping it. And here's the thing. I don't want to ruin this. I am rolling the rock like I've never putted before in my life.
Come on,
buddy, because I couldn't do anything for 3 months, but I could putt after like a month and a half. I'm feeling the weight of the club head. I'm not leaving putts short, and I'm canning 10-footer after 10-footer after 10-footer. Made 5 birdies the other day. I think something's happened with my putter. So let's get ready for the next Sandbagger whenever we are recording again.
I'm horned up.
Ooh, should be coming soon. Boys,
Rufus the Soul is the guy that I was thinking of for the artist. So all these kids are more so into the EDM.
Yeah, so the next Sandbag is going to be sponsored by Ecstasy. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, little Molly.
Yeah, not my speed.
Little Dolly Parton.
Not my speed. No judging though. Hockey night in Canada / Saturday night this week, Biz. Unreal slate of games, but more importantly, there were some huge milestones by some legendary NHLers. First, we're going to go to Toronto. Big shocker. Wayne Simmons played his 1,000th NHL game versus Vancouver. Congratulations to the Wayne train. Big milestone for him. He's in his 14th season, hard-nosed right wing. He's been a model player, a beloved teammate everywhere he's been. 6 teams. I didn't realize he was on 6 teams until I looked it up. L.A., Philly, Nashville, Jersey, Buffalo, and obviously Toronto. Not to mention, Biz, tough as nails. Pretty damn skilled too. 30 goals a couple times. It was pretty cool. All the teammates had the Wayne Train shirts on, walking around the locker room before the game. Also, too, he's also the fifth black player to play at least 1,000 NHL games, joining Jerome McGinley, Mike Greer, Trevor Daley, and Donald Brashear. It's like, the NHL's been, I think, 105 years. That's 5 guys. I would say that number will double in like the next 15 to 20 years. I would think, the progress that's been made in that regard. But
so.
Yeah, absolutely. We all hope so. I mean, I think it'll happen. But anyways, Biz, Wayne Train, what do you got for us?
I mean, what's there left to be said? I mean, everybody knows what this guy brings to an NHL lineup. I think he's going to be most remembered for his time in Philadelphia, where, he played that smash mouth style of game, unbelievable on the walls, a great teammate, worked relentlessly on and off the ice to keep his game to where it has been for, 1,000 games now. And just that good net front presence. That's where he scored most of his goals, in the dirty areas, taking that punishment. And, obviously Toronto needed to add some toughness and a guy in the locker room with his type of leadership. And he's definitely provided that over the tenure, you like that, that he's been there. So, I'm really happy for the guy. I actually was able to spend a little bit of time with him when I was doing those BioSteel camps in Toronto, when he was training with Matt Nickel. And like I said, just like so liked in the locker room, and just really a pleasant guy to be around, who, he's a pretty quiet guy, just goes about his business, gets the work done. And I'm really, really happy for the guy. So congratulations to Wayne Simmonds on 1,000 games played in the National Hockey League, with dog.
Yeah, an unreal player. I have a couple buddies that just always wanted him on the Bruins. They were just, I want that guy in the Bruins. I feel like that was kind of who he was. Any team he'd play against, the fans of that team be like, we got to get a guy like that, who'd just go to war every single night. And he'd obviously like make life miserable for the opposing team. But it was more about how good he was offensively that I think he really blew away his like ceiling when he was drafted. I think he was 61st overall. I looked into it. He's got over 24 goals 6 times. Already mentioned 2 times he's gotten 30. And, he got traded from LA to Philly in the Mike Richards deal. It was part of that deal. And so Mike Richards went on to win 2 Stanley Cups in LA. So you almost feel bad in a sense a little bit. And unlike when Kunitz got traded to Pittsburgh, for me, like Pittsburgh probably wouldn't have won the cup. They definitely wouldn't have won the cup if they not gotten Kunitz and gotten rid of me. Simmons is a guy, they still could have won it, right? He could have been on that LA team and been a Stanley Cup winner. He wasn't somebody that was hurting that team, but they got a center iceman. Richards went on, and I think, Simmons was perfect for Philly because of the way he played. And I was reading an old article. Hartnell was talking about how he's just farmer strong. Because if you saw the guy off the ice, any fans who've ever seen him, he is rail thin. Some of the skinniest legs I've ever seen, but his balance is so good that Hartnell mentioned we've done hockey camps together where you're doing plyometric circuits, and he's just bounding over these things like a gazelle. And Hartnell saying, I'm barely getting over them. I'm hitting the top and falling down, and everything was effortless for him. A lot of guys look big and strong with their shirt off. He might not look like that, but he's definitely as strong as each and every one of those players. So he's somebody that you saw him fight too, and he would be willing to go long arms.
Just caving guys' faces in.
He was with Philly. This is when Hackstall was the coach, and he knocked out McDonough. I don't know, was it a hit or a punch? He gave him a concussion. So the next game they're going to MSG, and he knows what's up, and he ended up fighting Dylan McElrath. I think he caught him with a pretty good right. And he's going off the ice screaming at the MSG crowd. It was kind of encapsulated like who he was, just so competitive, played so angry, which is a good thing. And Toronto brought him in because they were sick of getting pushed around. He's done a great job there. It's different now. He's playing under 10 minutes, but he still is bringing that veteran leadership where everyone respects the hell out of him. So 1,000 games is such an amazing thing. We've talked to every guy who gets to 1,000 games, we like to mention it, at least talk about him a little bit. And I think fans sometimes are like, what the hell? It's like, until you play the game, I shouldn't say that because there's many fans who understand, but if you've played the game, you realize 1,000 games deserves like an hour discussion for every guy. It is such a milestone. That
the mental and physical grind of it all is it's really undescribable, folks. It's like I played 200 games and I feel like I played 1,000. Let's just put it that way. And we won't even get to the mind aspect.
It's the least we could do for guys. Talk about it for 10, 20 minutes on a hockey show, pay the respects.
Well, RA, so Whit mentioned how he looks a little bit skinnier, but the balance aspect is when you think he would have him lined up, he would get you with a reverse hit that would just like shake you to the absolute core. So yeah, that's so my one on ice memory of Wayne Simmonds is the game when I ended up fighting when we were up 3-1 against Philly at home, and they ended up scoring 4 unanswered after my fight. After I got out of the box, you have
to fire the boys up is.
Oh, buddy, I felt like the biggest loser after the game. Thank God Donor was there to fucking cheer me up. But after that, so remember, you go to the box, you haven't had a shift for probably like 20 minutes in real time. And it was towards the end of the second. And I get it on the half wall, try to get it out, turn over. They ended up going, and I was so mad. I ended up breaking my stick over my knee. And I'll never forget. He was like, "Pah!" He's like, "You're a loser." And then him and Hartnell started chiming in. Yeah, he's like, "Oh," and then Hartner's like, "Yeah, easy there, tough guy." And him and Hartnell were just beaking me coming off the ice. I like that was probably partly as to why I just wanted to crawl in a hole after not only if I can get speed bagged by Rosehill, they score 4 unanswered, we lose the game, and then I got chirped by Simmons and Hartnell combo package. So yeah, that was probably the worst night of my NHL career.
Yes. You know what I noticed too, like looking at his stats and looking up until like the last couple of years, how durable he was. Like, he played like 90% of the games in most of the seasons he was in.
And how he played it is just remarkable. But like I said, it goes back, and that's why I wanted to mention Matty Nickel. Is Simmons would be there every single day, doing every single exercise. He would never take days off. He was so committed to the game in the off season. And that's why I think it has really transferred over, not only for Simmons, but for other guys too. And I know we're going to get to it later because I'm getting PTSD from all these 1,000 game buys, by the way, because I think I had to pay for 6 or 7 watches. So if you're struggling getting a stainless steel watch from Rolex, it's probably because the NHL has inflated the prices. So far this season, we've had Doughty, Johnson, Simmons, Giordano, Voracek, Louis Eriksson, Green, Wheeler, and there's still 5 coming up till the end of the season. Hopefully, obviously, Mark Stahl, Jonathan Taves, Claude Giroux, Andrew Ladd, and Felino. So
how are these guys doing?
And Jack Johnson too.
So I mentioned Johnson. He was the second one. No worries, buddy. No, and we're gonna have to get to him later already.
We still got to get to the Leafs, buddy. We're in the Leafs land.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna skip over that and just go through all the 1,000 game ceremony.
No, that's not how we do it.
Actually, go ahead.
It does go to the point of the fact that all the exercising and training in the off season, as opposed to the only ice guys are touching, or as it was at the bottom of the cooler before these days, are what I believe the reason that all these guys and more players moving forward are going to keep hitting that milestone. So I guess I'll leave it at that, but congratulations to Simmons and all those other guys that I mentioned. And what did you have to chime in with, all right?
You good? Are you all set with?
Yeah, I was just going to mention that Saturday night tilt against Vancouver where the Leafs blew a lead and gave up 6 goals again. But the reason, the one thing that stuck out was Simmons on his 1,000th game. It would have been cool to get one. Spezza, they did a little sick give and go, and Demko had one of the saves of the season on Simmons in that game.
Oh, that last 10 minutes of that game, I felt like a Game 7 playoff game. Vancouver was selling out everything. They would dive into block shots, block everything. Because Toronto was outplaying them vastly, but they just couldn't get the equalizer because of Thatcher Demko, man. He was absolutely in the zone. Aces again. They pulled the goal with 3 minutes left. So I had Vancouver -1.5. So I had to wait till 20 seconds left to get that empty netter. There was plus 375. But just the intensity of that game was absolutely insane. But again, we talked about it last week. It's starting to get talked about a lot more. Toronto's goaltending, man. That was an issue, but I think the defense out front was just as bad with.
The defense was brutal. They can score with the best of them, but I don't know about this team defense. And Steve Dangle's the Leafs fan I like because he knows that it's coming. He knows what's going to happen this year. Just like I think a high percentage of Leaf fans still know this year nothing's going to happen. It's not a team that's built to win. It is as good of a team offensively as you'll find in the league. They have one of the best players to ever play hockey right now in Austin Matthews. Marner's been a complete magician. He looks so good. They just have top-notch forwards who can score, and they're physical up front, but they're I don't know, man. I do not know what is going on there. And then with the goaltending, and Biz, you're such a joke. Like, I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
I wasn't worried last week, and you put me on the spot. I didn't think you were going to bring it up because it's like, well, it wasn't that big of a sample size, or at least I thought. And everybody goes through goaltending problems. And if I were you, I'd worry about your own fucking Oilers. So I was a little caught off guard
about them. But January 1st to now isn't that small of a sample, and they're the worst in the league. The worst in the league.
So goaltending has become a problem, obviously, with that 5-1 loss to the Sabres on home ice, and then followed up by the meltdown against Vancouver. The goaltending situation has put Dubas in a very, very difficult situation in the next 2 weeks. With it all boiling down, in my opinion, on what's going to happen is going to come to the Winter Classic, or sorry, the Heritage Classic. Mm-hmm. So they got a chance coming up here Sunday in a matinee to rebuttal the Sabres performance on home ice at the, I guess I was going to say ACC, but it's the Scotiabank Arena. If they get lit up or lose to the Buffalo Sabres and goaltending's not good there, I would say that a move is imminent. Is that the word? Imminent?
Yep.
Imminent.
Yep.
You got it the first time.
That means one's
You mentioned the defense. Pathetic in front of the net. And I think that Minnesota's going through that same problem right now, where they're just, maybe a rebound here, rebound there. The stick's not caught up. They're not boxing guys out early enough. Getting Muzzin back is going to be like a deadline acquisition. They are missing him so fucking bad right now. Now, there was a tweet that came out, and I'm going to put my conspiracy theory bucket on. Steve Simmons, who works in Toronto media, he ends up tweeting out that Marc-Andre Fleury has informed Chicago that he is not on the move. Now, I believe that Steve Simmons threw that tweet up to convince all the other teams that Fleury is not going to be on the move, and Dubas might swoop him up with some cap circumvention or circumcision or whatever the fuck they call it, and whatever they're doing nowadays, where they could potentially get Flower if they do like a three-way deal, where they could get him for maybe like a 1.7 million cap hit and squeeze Flower in there. Now, I'm not saying
about 2 million. They're going to have 2 million. If
I'm not saying to do it now. I think you got the 2-week window. I would sit down Campbell and I would sit down Mrazek and say, listen, clean slate. You got 2 weeks to show me whether you can fucking pull it together or not. And if not, would you guys not agree that if goaltending is an issue past the deadline and a reason why they end up getting knocked out first round, that it's safe to say that Kyle Dubas, this might be his last year as general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it really sucks. And I trust that he's going to end up making the right move, but everything was going so good until the All-Star game. Everybody was they were rolling. They had an incredible record, and all of a sudden the wheels are falling off. And if that's going to be the case, you could count his days as numbered in Leafland. So hopefully they get Muzzin back soon. Fucking shout out to Steve Simmons for probably doing that to make up for him tweeting out Austin Matthews' health records when he ended up getting COVID. So that is my conspiracy theory as to why Steve Simmons stepped up and said that. Now, since we've been on, a tweet has come up, and this is Frank Saravelli. And I ended up just sending it to the group chat, and I'm going to find it right here. You know what, Whit? I'm going to hand it over to you, and then I'm going to find it and then read it when you're done.
I'm going to say your theory is so stupid because there isn't a human being in the world that wants the Leafs to lose more than Steve Simmons. I promise
nobody
you
listens
that.
to Steve Simmons anyways.
I mean, the fact that we've said the guy's name this many times is you want them to lose? Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. I thought you were a diehard.
No, he listens to Steve Simmons.
I do. Listen, I listen to Steve Simmons.
Steve Simmons, all that guy wants is the Leafs to lose because that makes his job so much easier. Kyle Dubas, if they lose in the first round, see ya. I actually don't think that's necessarily fair, and he'd probably have a job in 5 minutes. But you lose again in the first round, you're done. And I'll finish this just to pump RA and Granelli up. People think I'm a Bruins fan. I'm not a Bruins fan. I'm a fan of different players around the league. The Bruins are right there. They are 2 points back of the Leafs. The Leafs might end up having to face one of the Florida teams in the first round. They're going to be a wild card team. The Leafs might be a wild card team, Biz. Who would have thought that was going to be the case? So the top 8 in the Eastern Conference are probably set, even though Washington sucks right now and Columbus has been buzzing. But if the Leafs end up getting a wild card seed and then get trounced in the first round by Tampa or Florida, we are going to be laughing our dicks off of our torso for the entire second round. I might not even watch the second round because I'll be so happy from what happened in the first.
Now, before I read this tweet, Grinelli, I feel kind of bad because we released on the YouTube channel that behind the scenes of the entire Vegas trip, and I ended up bumping in the tunnel right before they were heading out for the game into Jack Campbell and Austin Matthews. And I mean, why don't you roll it?
Hey, who's Wilson on this thing? What's up, boys? How you doing? He's in the room. I did the Anything to say to Leafs Nation? We're going past the first round this year, maybe. We're going on a fucking ride, aren't we? Tell the camera. It's just win today, boys. Good to see you, dude. Leader right fucking there. Leafs Nation one. We're going right past the Senators, guys. Bunch of fucking plugs. Let's go, Leafs Nation!
And now Jack, if you're listening, first of all, I'm sorry that I poked you in the chest and I tried to get you to say that we're going past the first round and you were so modest about it. And ever since then, the wheels have fallen off, but I fucking believe in you. All these idiots all around who follow the NHL, carving Leafs goaltending, they weren't on the bus with you eating soggy subs. I was. I know the fire that's under your ass and what you want to prove to these people. So fucking shove it up their hoop and turn this thing around and make Kyle Dubas look like the genius that he is. Now, going back to this tweet I'm about to read out about the cap circumcision, I don't think the Fleury situation is far-fetched. For one, you could use a third-party broker and chomp his salary twice. So instead of 3.5, it's going to be 1.75, and that becomes immediately more manageable. And that's talking Fleury to the Leafs possibility. So if Fleury ended up going to the Maple Leafs,
oh my God, that would be so good for our job.
I don't even know. Like, my fucking head would explode. I was so convinced on the last dance theory with him going back to Pittsburgh without Jari having that playoff experience and him forgetting to bring his glove to the playoffs last year. But fuck that. I don't give a fiddler's fuck if he ends up going to Pittsburgh. I would suck. I'm not even going to say it. I would do nasty shit to get Flower with those pearly white chompers in net for the Toronto Maple Leafs as Jack Campbell's backup.
Quickly, as we kind of finish up the usual Leafs discussion, which sorry folks, it's fun to talk about them.
Yeah,
it drives people nuts. I do not care. We do not care. They are at the center of the hockey world. They kind of always will be, and especially when they are considered contenders. And then this is happening after January 1st. So take it all in. If you hate them, enjoy it. If you love them, start panicking because it's going to end ugly and it's going to end fast. And quickly to wrap up the other team on that Saturday night game against Vancouver. Some interesting questions coming out of there because, like, are they going to be sellers? JT Miller, so many different teams want him, but now they're in the thick of things. They got Montreal, who's playing great. Then they got the Devils. They got the Red Wings. They got Buffalo. That's all before the deadline. So if they continue to win games, they're going to have some decisions. Are we going to sell off some assets? Or are we going to try to get in? So that's the other team that ended up whooping Toronto on home ice.
So quickly before I comment on Vancouver, very big of Steve Simmons to help out the Leafs and throw that tweet up to help Kyle Dubas to make up for the Austin Matthews thing. So I'll just mention that quickly. Going back to the JT Miller thing, I do not think they end up trading him. I think that Aquilini, their owner, is in win now mentality. He has one more year left on his deal, and I would imagine that they're going to try to re-up him in the summer. He has been such a vital piece. I was critical of the move when they made it. I thought that they were rushing the rebuild. Obviously, with the way things lie, if they end up missing the playoffs, it's still one of those situations where I still think that they rushed the rebuild. But JT Miller has established himself as a very, very, very good player in the National Hockey League and now a leader for that Vancouver Canucks team. When they've had guys go, when Pettersson was struggling early on, when Garland's gone through some slumps, basically all their guys, their top end guys have, and that's probably why they're in the situation they have been. If I were them, I would, unless it's an insane package, I would try to keep that guy because he is a one man fucking show out there. Shrum shifts.
Yeah, currently 4 points back. They've played 57 games. Predators have 2 games in hand on them, but yeah, I mean they're right in the thick of it, like you said. And yeah, Simmons, he also made up the story about Kessel with the hot dogs. Like somebody went where he said the hot dog stand was, and like he totally made that up. They basically figured that out too. So he needs to answer for that too. I don't like the guy. What else, Biz? Oh, yeah, Austin Matthews, our buddy. Let's see. His 419 points to his first 400 games is a Toronto record. Mana reached it in 415 games. So those guys, we're talking about who's the best Leaf ever. Austin just keeps piling up the evidence for you, Biz. Yeah, well, we jumped on board, too. So let's see. Down in D.C., Seattle captain Mark Giordano played in his 1,000th game as well. So congrats to Gio as well. Good job, brother. This guy was never drafted. Currently in his 16th season. I mean, that's an unreal accomplishment to never get drafted, play 16 years. It makes a lot of front offices look stupid, I'll tell you that. He actually played in the KHL back in the 07-08 season. Played a couple games with the Flames. I don't know, contracts things were going on, so he went to Russia for a year.
Flames were notoriously cheap back then, and they tried to hose him on his contract, so he said, fuck you. He went over to Russia. And the fact that he was able to come back and have the career that he had, and I know I've been double barrel stroking off the trainers. When he ended up winning that Norris Trophy, he thanked his trainer and said without him, that him being in the shape that he is, it wouldn't have been possible for him to play as long as he had. And that was, 3 years ago when he won the Norris. So just the ultimate competitor. And RA, I don't know, Calgary. Could you see him going back to Calgary?
I mean, sorry, Wade, it's probably in his court. I mean, I'm sure they're talking to him about it. If he doesn't want to sign an extension with Seattle, and I'm sure he wants to go get a crack at a ring. He's 38 years old. He's not going to get too many more shots at it. So I would think he would ask for a trade. And
he would probably cost them like a fourth rounder, third rounder, maybe. Not too expensive. And it's hard, right? Because obviously there's rumblings that Calgary would be the team. Tree Living loved him. It probably crushed his soul at the fact that he had to keep him or make him available, for the expansion draft. To bring him back would probably be something that he would want to do. I guess you just got to worry about the fact that they are rolling so good right now that you just don't want to disrupt what's happening and take ice time and a spot in the lineup for somebody who has earned it for Daryl Sutter. So to go back to just him as a player though, folks, I mean, we've talked about him many a times on this podcast, ultimate competitor, extremely well liked by his teammates. And I know that him and Luch can absolutely crush pints together.
He went over to Russia because Daryl Sutter at the time wouldn't give him a one-way. And he went over and completely proved himself, improved offensively a little bit, and proved to the entire team, like, I'm a player. And so to do that and to take your entire career in your own hands and go over and risk that was a pretty ballsy move. So he's deserving of all the success he's had, of the 1,000 games he's played. I read an old article. So he wasn't drafted. Ari mentioned he's actually the first and only player to ever win the Norris Trophy without being drafted, which I thought was
fuck out of here.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And
Nugget.
Our boy Commodore was interviewed in this old article I was reading about so when he's coming out of junior, I think he played for Owen Sound. Yep. He didn't have anything going, and he got invited to a Flames summer camp. He was actually already, I don't know about enrolled, but he was already committed to going to play for York University in Toronto, which is pretty much usually the end of the line. If you go play junior, you play college after, most guys aren't going to play pro hockey at a real high level after that. But he goes to the Flames summer camp. He does great, and he signs a 3-way deal. So he signed a salary in the coast.
Do those even exist anymore?
I don't even think they do. I was wondering that. I remember the 3-ways. Biz had a bunch of them, but they were contracts. I think so what happened was, so he goes, and that lockout year was his first year. So he was in Lowell, which was actually split between Carolina and Calgary. So 4 defensemen that were under property of the Hurricanes got to be on the team, and 4 defensemen under property of the Flames got to be on the team. So it was looking like he might get to the East Coast League. He might be starting in Vegas. And then he went into camp, and Tom Rowe, who coached me in San Antonio, actually snapped on me for not cleaning up the hair after I shaved in the shower when I got healthy scratch in the AHL. So that was another
scumbag move.
Douchebag move. Should have been on there. But he had a bunch of quotes that, like, right away, he's like, this kid's pretty good. So Commodore's talking about how at the time he thought he was a little bit overweight. He's like, this kid's kind of chunky, but he moves really well, and he kept playing better and better. And I guess after being scratched for a little while, there was a game where Commy had some special insoles in his skates, kind of like what I wore, it sounded like, and he forgot them. And he's like, I can't play without these. And he was going to give it a go with some normal insoles. And I guess Tom Rowe said, no, Commy, you're going to play so many games this year, don't worry about it. And in that game, that's when Giordano got into the lineup, and he pretty much never left. He played some sick hockey that year, and he didn't play a ton, but but he made his impact. And then the next year, he spent the entire year in the AHL in Omaha, led the team in scoring, had, I think, 58 points in like 70 games, lit it up, got 7 games with the Flames that year, ended up going up, boom, ends up going over to the KHL, comes back and does what he does with this ridiculous career. So it shows that to do what he's done and to get to the level that he's at after not being drafted and having so many people doubt you, it's like this. It's this fortitude that you have inside where nobody's going to let you get shut out from your dream and from what you know you can accomplish. And he's exemplified like professionalism and working till it's impossible to work any harder. And he's played some high-level hockey. He's 4th on points in Seattle. He's over 21 minutes a game. So you're going to bring him into a Stanley Cup contender team, whether it's Calgary or not. I hate to admit it. The Flames are legit Stanley Cup contenders this year. So you're going to bring him in. And I don't think he's a top pair defenseman on a Stanley Cup winning team, but you get him on the second or third pair, he's going to make an impact for somebody this spring. So congratulations to him. What a run it's been. And to read a little bit more about him, just Google him, read some different stories about how much guys love him, how quiet he is, but also confident. And it's somebody that I think any single kid could look up to as to have a career the way he did. No matter what people say about you at certain ages, you can still get it done yourself.
Well, I mean, not only going back to that insole story, have you ever had to play a game without insoles in your skates?
Yes.
Oh, so
it's
folks,
the worst.
Yeah. So you don't get rusty rivets from all the sweat and the salty sweat in your skates. You got to take the insoles out and make sure they dry properly. Yeah. And when you forget those and you got to play without the insoles, it's a fucking nightmare. And when you're a kid and you do it, your parents are get on the ice. Who gives a shit about your insoles? They don't give a fiddler's fuck.
Another significant note from that game as well. The Caps did win that game 5-2. Ovi's 34th goal of the year was also the 764th of his career, putting him just 2 behind the legend Jaromir Jagr, who's 3rd all time. So Ovi creeping up. He's going to catch Jagr soon enough. We got another note for Jagr. We'll get to that a little bit later. And then in Columbus, Ohio, the Blue Jackets retired the first number in franchise history as Rick Nash's 61 was sent to the rafters of Nationwide Arena before their game with the Bruins. Congrats to Nash, man. Great player. Kid was in the NHL at 18, second season. He had 41 goals, tied for the Rocket Richard Trophy. Never saw a day in the minors. First overall in the 02 draft. And he's the franchise. I mean, when you think of the Columbus Blue Jackets, it's Rick Nash. So well-deserved. He's working with the organization now. Biz, who wants to chime in?
Well, I feel bad because on the broadcast, when I mentioned his mother, but it was both of his parents. You know, he came from a very blue collar household. They would do fundraisers, whether it was bake sales, they would do bingo and gambling nights just so they could raise enough money so he could travel around and play hockey and get the gear. So to hear that, it was pretty cool. It was in the paper in Columbus. I think it was called the Columbus Dispatch, and I forget the name of the guy, Brian Hedger, maybe, who wrote the article. So if you get a chance to go read it, folks, very cool. It was also cool hearing about his when he grew up a huge Matt Sundin fan. So when he was playing in the GTHL for the Marlies, same colors. He had number 13, and then when he got the junior, they wouldn't allow him to wear it, and that was kind of the crazy story about how he ended up getting his number. London Knights, they had some weird rules with the trainer, like they wouldn't allow you to tape your socks a certain way. So for everyone wondering how he ended up getting the number 61, that's one of the backstories also. But just from his career, I mean, I just commend him at the fact that sometimes when you're this superstar player and you're maybe playing with an organization where you're the guy, and you know, you get drafted and you start making your impact, and all of a sudden there isn't maybe as much trickle over where more guys are coming in to get you into playoffs. I think through his full 8 years there, they made playoffs one time and they ended up getting swept. So I really commend guys who are willing to stick around and try to be the difference. And I think that he stayed there probably as long as he could, with finally he's like, hey, I want to go try to win some games here in playoffs and get my chance at a Stanley Cup. And he deserved that. But through his time in Columbus, the impact he made in growing hockey alone in the state of Ohio. I mean, you talk to Roslovic and all these other guys who eventually made it, said that he was the guy who inspired them, and they watched and wanted to be Rick Nash. And every time you would get it on a breakaway, it's like he didn't even miss. You know, his execution around the net when it was just him and the goalie it was second to none on breakaways. You look at all these crazy highlight reel goals that he scored, and of all the goals that he scored, he said that his favorite one was when he scored a game winner when he was at the World Championships for Team Canada. Of course, not making the playoffs with Columbus all those years. He had the ability to go over there and win a couple World Championships, depending on which country it bounced around to. So just an incredible career. If anything, I felt it ended a little too short. I would have liked to have seen some more years. But like I said, those highlight reel goals, we're not going to talk about the one against Phoenix, but you probably even played a little bit more against them growing up and in your NHL career. So you might even have more to say.
I never did growing up. He's an 84, but we were the same draft because back then it was if you went to college, you bumped back a year. So that draft, I've told the story before, it was Jay Bowmeister was going to be first overall for about 6 years, it felt like. And then draft time came and Columbus and Doug McLean decided to go with Nash. And Biz, you made the best point. Like, he did change hockey in that city. And you look at it now, they are pumping out fans every single game. Like the team has them in the same. They had that awesome run after they beat the Lightning a few years back. Then they've struggled a little bit, but the fans are there. And part of that is Rick Nash. So I think when you look at his career, it's like just dominant power forward, thoroughbred, constantly skating around with guys hanging on him. You know, he's strong enough, fast enough where he's just like one-arming defenseman, driving to the net, making plays. He had an assist in Boston that was one of the sickest plays you'll ever see. You can Google it. I think he gave it over to Carl Hagelin when he was on the Rangers. Just an amazing player that like we mentioned with so many different hockey guys, I know we pump this sports tires because that's who we are, but they're the best people in the world, hockey players. And he's done so much for charity in Columbus, and every teammate, you talk to Keith Yandel and Kevin Hayes were with him. They love him to death. They said he's so modest, so quiet, yet the game started and he was ready to go. So I love that he got to go over to the Rangers. He did go to a cup final with them, I believe, right? When they lost to the Kings. He was on that Rangers team. Was that 14?
14. No. I always get 14 and 12 confused because the Kings beat New York, the Devils, and the Rangers.
Yeah, so he was on a team. He was on the team that went to the final. And the years in Columbus, like, he kind of always around a point per game. But you got to remember, those are bad teams.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot to play with. So, you know, if he's on an elite team his entire career, he's over a point per game. His numbers would be even better. But just a great run. And the video that did come out on how he found out they were going to retire his jersey, which we talked about a few months ago when it was released, he was surprised by the entire Columbus team and staff and all the office people and everyone. Go check that out if you want. So congrats to him on a special night. I know Commodore and a bunch of past teammates were there. It seemed like a blast.
I'd completely forgotten that he was on that cup run team in
2014.
Yeah,
2014. G just sent it over. Also, too, the face-off was pretty cool. It was, you know, they had Boone Jenner, Nick Foligno, and Rick there, the last three captains of the Blue Jackets. So I'm sure that the fans enjoyed that too. It was good stuff. And I think the non-Rick Nash highlight of the night, probably one of the most athletic things I've seen in the NHL this year. Pal Elvis Merzlikins. Somebody was coming in. They were about to take him out. He jumped. I mean, he got about 4 feet off the ground, and he lands, and he stuck the landing. I was like, I mean, you must have seen the clip. I sent it over to you guys. That was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. That was insane, man. He got about 4 feet.
20 pounds of pads on.
Everybody was buzzing about it.
Yeah, and not landing as well. So, all right, once again, congrats to Rick Nash. And Biz, Biz, St. Patrick's Day is next week. We know you're going to be crushing pints and birdie juice with the boys, and you need to go to work the next day. You're going to be feeling like a human being. So what are you going to be doing for that, Biz?
DHM Detox. Yeah. The vitamin for people that drinks, guys. I've talked about it all the time. I'm not even going to talk about the weddings. They got other products right now. They got vitamins in the morning, the gummies. They have the electrolyte hydrator packs. They got different flavors for it now. But more importantly, the vitamin for people that drinks, it breaks down the toxins of the alcohol before it gets to your liver. I have people messaging me about this stuff all the time. They finally have given it a chance, and it works. Okay. The next morning, you're not feeling like a hang piece. You can be productive. And as I mentioned, you pop about 2 of these things. I usually double it up with 2 packs. So it'd be 4 pills. You do it while you're drinking. You can have about 10, 15 pops, and you wake up the next day with no anxiety, not feeling like a bag of shit. And as I mentioned, you can collab it with the hydration packs, a great product. No days wasted. I think we're going to be hitting them with a Briz20 promo code for 20% off.
Yeah, no days wasted.co, not the .com. That we're getting all these new dot things that you got to pay attention to those. Not just what our sponsors, just in general. There's all kinds of new stuff coming out. It was always .com and .gov, but no, this is no days wasted.co. And again, like I said, St. Patty's Day, next week, man, especially in Boston, a lot of people are going to have a few cocktails, a lot of birdie juice. You want to be good for work that next day or 4 days later, or how many days you're going to bang in. So once again, that's nodayswasted.co for no days wasted after drinking with Biz20, promo code Biz20 for 20% off.
DHM Detox. Yeah.
Also, Biz, we got to mention GoPuff. If you need it real quick, delivered quick, you're at a party, you forgot it, No Days Wasted is on GoPuff. So that means delivery to your house, a party, or the bar in 30 minutes or less. Just head over to GoPuff and search No Days Wasted. I thought you were going to finish you off there, Biz.
It's DHM Detox. Yeah.
I love your voice there, Biz. Good stuff. All right, moving right along. Yeah. I think this is the most anticipated game of the night. The most anticipated game of the night and the day. Calgary, Colorado. Unreal game. Went to overtime. Johnny Hockey gets it done in OT. I'd say these two would be an unreal Western Conference final. I mean, there's so many teams that would be unreal, but after that game the other night, we had a couple big boys going at it. Lucic, McDermott. I love the way they kind of got next to each other, bumped each other. You knew what was happening. They skated off to the side. Just classic NHL fight. You got to love that stuff. But what you think of the game there, Biz? Did you catch the whole thing or what?
Oh, I had everything. I mean, where do I start? Every loose puck, it was like a cage match. The crowd was unbelievable. You had, I mean, I would say 4-3 nowadays is the perfect hockey game. You get some solid goaltending, but yet you still get the offense. You mentioned the Lucic and McDermott fight off the draw. That just even brought it to a different level of intensity. The things that stuck out, Lindholm's still on this tear. He is just, like there's so many guys having such amazing seasons. His name won't come up in the heart, but what he's done for that team and a big reason for their success is him solely. Well, I guess that line in general. But the thing that stuck out offensively was that transition goal where Makar ended up taking it, getting down the ice. He ended up becoming the guy net driving, and MacKinnon gets teed up for that one-timer, and it was just the speed coming up the ice was just, it looked like the game was in fast forward. So you mentioned that as a matchup. I mean, either that matchup or Colorado with the Golden Knights, I'll take it any day of the week. But what you mentioned earlier, Calgary looks primed and ready for a cup run, and the Red Mile will be a rocking.
That Saturday night was the lowest I've been since this bet was made about my ear and your scalp. Calgary is giving it. Well, not giving it, but they end up getting a win in Colorado, who Colorado's like sneaking up with the 95 Wings and the Lightning. Like they are one of the best teams to ever play this regular season so far. So the Flames go in there. Like you said, Lindholm gets 2. They have this great fight. The team looks amazing. They get a win on a sick Gaudreau winner in overtime. And then over in Alberta, back up in Canada, the fucking Oilers are losing and getting drummed on home ice by the Montreal Canadiens, who are a completely different team now. So I don't want to take anything away from them and what St. Louis done there. But holy shit is my ear. The only chance I have at not getting a... First of all, you have no chance at shaving your head. The only chance my ear has is if somehow Edmonton makes the playoffs and they both lose first round. That's it.
I mean, you said it, and that's why I was surprised last week when you brought up the Leafs goaltending, where I'm talking about.
That's a different bet. That's just me.
No. I understand, but then yet again, the team that you jumped on their bandwagon, they're not even in a fucking wild card spot right now. They're sitting one out right now.
They're not. I don't even know why Mike Smith started that game. He's now out again. I think he's got a non-COVID related illness, but Koskinen's been sick. And then, I don't know if they thought Montreal would be an easier game. It's so ugly in Edmonton. But back to that Flames game. If you take McDermott, Delorier, Reeves, Lucic, who you taking, Biz? Who's the toughest guy in the?
They're all going to be playing for the. They're all going to be playing for the Coyotes at ASU pretty soon, and we're going to be the new goon squad of the league. Nobody's going to come out there without having a busted nose and stitches in their face. Wow,
that's a great fight, though.
That's a really, really, really good question, Whit. So you just gave me the option if I got to take one heavy, whether I'm taking McDermott, Lucic, Delorier, and who was the fourth guy?
Revo. I mean, it's kind of a no. I don't think there's a.
Well, I mean, you got to take age. But... You got to take age into factor here. Lucic far superior, the better player throughout his career. So I'd probably stick with Luch because he wouldn't be intimidated by any of those guys. I think that Reeves is still the league heavyweight.
Okay.
But
what I was about.
I think Delorier's up at the end of this year. I have been adamant that I would love for the Coyotes to pick him up because I think that his game has definitely progressed through the years. And I think with the added toughness, he's just created a little bit more space for himself out there. So his play has just gotten better. So, yeah, I would stick with Luch as my number one answer.
Plus, he could take some classes at Arizona State if he does sign there.
Who?
Whoever signs there can take classes because they're playing in the college.
If you can write your name and read like a children's book, you can get into ASU.
Lucic has about 55 to 60 sheets in the bank. I don't think he fucking cares about school.
All right, why don't you read that list of names? When Biz talked about that rush, when Makar started it, snapped it over to MacKinnon, who went to Kadri, back to MacKinnon for that sick goal. I think that it made it 3-3. Why don't you read the list of names that Makar joined in terms of that assist, right?
Oh, yeah. 14 apples in his last, 11 games?
This kid, man, it's crazy that the company he's already at this early in his career. Yeah, he's got the longest assist streak by a defenseman in team history with 11, and the 5th longest assist streak by a defenseman in league history after Paul Coffey, Brian Leach, Phil Housley, and a fellow named Bobby Orr.
It's insane, guys. It's insane. He's pretty much locked up the Norris Trophy this year. And I feel like people could take this as though maybe I'm disrespecting Roman Josi, Hedman. Hedman's got 13 goals. Yosi's got 14. Even Ekblad this year, he's got 14 as well. I've mentioned he's a Norris Trophy possible candidate. So there's a bunch of guys having career seasons. But Cale Makar, you are watching what is probably going to go down as one of the best defensemen to ever play early in his career. I'm telling you, the way he skates, the way he controls the game out there. I know those other guys I mentioned are having fantastic seasons, possible Hall of Famers in their own right, but Cale Makar right now, runaway winner of the Norris Trophy. Runaway people seems insane. People may think I'm nuts, but I'm telling you, he is changing games every single night.
I mean, I can't disagree with you, buddy.
Plus 36.
Oh yeah, plus minus. That's the end all.
Oh, there you go.
Stat
there you
right
go.
There. Gotta
Stat
have
from
the
the
plus
80s.
minus.
But just when we keep bringing up these names with every week, same with McDavid. Like it's insane that this guy is this young and, like I said, being not compared to in the same company as. And just to back your point about Colorado saying they're one of the great teams ever. Earlier in the week, Colorado became the first team in the league to reach 40 wins. They got there in just their 54th game, tied for the second fastest ever. Like I said, Whit, back you up there.
Also, all right, sorry, one more thing. Of the top 10 defensemen in scoring right now, there's 2 guys from the same team. Devon Taves has 43 points in 45 games, and he's plus 45. So you're looking at 2 studs that round out Colorado's defense.
Second rounder. That's what they paid for him.
That's a tough one there, Lou.
Come on, Lou.
Just thinking, hey, Borelli, what do you think of that one? You peasant.
Got any ex-wife jokes for that one, Trots?
Yeah, we actually,
let's roll the clip. Fuck it. Let's roll it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's an old saying, turnovers are like ex-wives. If you have too many, they cost you a lot, and they cost you more and more. And it's so true. And that was the second period.
I mean, he ain't lying. They'll cost you a boatload.
Like, I don't even think that's an actual saying, but like he made it up on the spot. But it does make sense. Like, you don't want to accumulate too many turnovers and too many ex-wives because it just gets worse the more you do them. But I think because it was Barry Trotz and he kind of has like a clean-cut reputation. If, Trotz said it, you laugh. But like Trotz isn't known as like a jokester up there. So
you think Lou gave him a little pee-pee whack on a closed-door meeting for the ex-wife bomb?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot worse.
Day and age, man.
There's a lot worse thing going on with
that. Ex-wife comment actually just I don't want to throw the guy under the bus, so I won't say his name. So I'm on the golf course with a former player, and we were talking about family life and stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, actually, my dad's getting married." I'm like, "No way, when?" And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of like a little older to get married, like maybe And he's like, I'm like, "Oh, so like when are you going?" He's like, "I'm not going to this one. This is number 8 for him." Number 8. So
Liz Taylor.
So I mean,
what's he 8?
Yeah. So I didn't really. I tried to hold the laughter back. I was just like, it kind of caught me off guard. I went from asking him if he's attending his old man's wedding to finding out he's on number 8. So, I would imagine that those do become pretty costly. I mean, weddings.
You think after 2 biz, he'd be like, all right, we're just gonna be girlfriend boyfriend. Like,
I wonder what the world record is for the amount of times a guy's been divorced and remarried. I would probably
be up there.
There's got to be a number out there, or we got some G's gonna chime in here.
Glenn Scotty Wolf, who is 88 years old, was married 29 times. He holds the world record.
How old G?
He is 88.
He's got to be homeless.
That guy's certifiable.
What you know who Anthony Quinn is, the actor? He's been dead for a while. Older Italian actor, Anthony Quinn. You familiar with his
face? I'm sure I know.
A while, right?
No, he had a kid when he was like 89 years old. Like he legit like impregnated like his younger wife when he was 89.
Your sperm still shooting at that age?
Yeah. Men can reproduce like as long as they can still fucking shoot rockets. Then they sperm. If the sperm,
like women's eggs, they start disappearing.
Yeah, women get last call. Women get last call 40, 45 typically, but guys, you can reproduce fucking all day.
What was his name? G? Was he an ordained minister? Was he just like every time he was dating a girl, he just do it himself?
He actually was. He was a minister, and his name was Glenn Scotty Wolf.
Hey, fucking A, man! I deserve props for that.
Why did you know that?
Well, I'm saying is like, obviously, it's like basically if you're dating a girl, you just say, hey, you want to get married today? I'll do it. We'll do it ourselves. You could, you're the guy who could set yourself up, give yourself a couple 1Ts.
All right.
Or 29.
He must have needed insurance a lot.
Since we're talking about Colorado, should we talk about the fact that Nate Dogg should legitimately be in some type of prison cell at this point?
I think we have to do one thing before that, Paul. We got to give props to Jack Johnson. He had his 1,000th game as well, too, because Nate's going to tie into your Coyotes after. Jack Johnson, 1,000th game versus the Isles Tuesday night. He's the third defenseman from the 05 draft to hit that number, the 21st U.S.-born defenseman to do so. Of course, he was the third overall pick back in 05. Carolina took him. They traded him to L.A. He went on to Columbus, Pittsburgh, the Rangers. He was actually on a PTO. He thought his career might be over. He went to Colorado on a PTO. Everybody loved him, they said. All the guys loved him. They signed him to a Buffalo deal. $750,000. And everybody, I read a bunch of articles since then, Biz. It seems like every stop he's been at, he's been a beloved teammate. I know, like, fans have been on him in certain spots and his fucking analytics geeks don't like him or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like every teammate loved the guy. They say he's a hard worker, just a genuinely nice guy. I don't know. Either one of you guys ever run into him or know him at all?
No, but I mean, Sid vouched for him. And I know that they trained quite a bit in the offseason together, but heard nothing but good things. And to your point, every time the team signs him, like the analytics community, like has a cult meeting and they drink whatever fucking MacKinnon's been drinking and they go nuts.
And to bring up kind of a brutal subject for the kid, I mean, he made a lot of money and people, if you don't know the story, his parents pretty much swindled all of it from him. A horrific story of getting screwed over by the people that you should be able to trust most in your life. So to be able to continue to play and hopefully make back some of the money that his parents stole from him is a great story because, Sid and he played at Shattuck St. Mary together. I believe if Sid didn't tell the story when we interviewed him up in Halifax, I think I mentioned it before that he like charged the mound, I think, when Sid got hit by a pitch one time in baseball. Like they were boys. And then later on he played with Sid in Pittsburgh. And I'm sure, Crosby had a big part of getting him there. And it's great to see him on a team with Eric Johnson too. Those were two. I think Jack's a year or two older than him, but they came up together. They've kind of been the Johnson defenseman brothers, not brothers, excuse me, but the Johnsons, where everyone knew about them starting at a young age. Both NDTDP guys, and at Michigan, he was a great player, and then went on to play a long time. So I don't necessarily think he's kind of lived up to the third overall pick, but a great teammate, a great player, and to do it this long after going through what he went through, because you talk about the physical struggles in this game. But to lose all the money that you've earned, that you put your life on the line or your body on the line to earn, and to have it all be gone, that's heartbreaking stuff. So congrats to him on a hell of a run.
Well said, Whit. Well said, Whit. Now, Biz, we'll get to the Nate Dogg. A little bit of a snap show action in the desert. A little bit. Late in the game, they were down, I think, a goal, and he got a stick to the face. I don't think it was intentional from Dyson Mayo late in the game, and the Nate Dogg went snap show mode, went right at him, and then all of a sudden Landy went after Chikrin. It was a awesome shit show if you like that type of stuff, like we do on Spittin Chiclets. And Nate got bloody, man. He was all bloody. He was going fucking bananas. What do you think was going on there, Biz? And
he got a love tap off the face-off and then assaulted Dyson Mayo. And I mean, let's go back to a few weeks ago. If Juwan Howard has to go to anger management, I think that Nathan MacKinnon should be in solitary confinement after what I saw. And then on top of that, after getting beat 2 games in a row by the Desert Dogs to split the season series, keep the fucking change. Colorado's a bunch of frauds. I'll start there. I don't care about how many fucking games they won. If they can't beat the Desert Dogs, they're in trouble. He leaves the ice, and I got my Aunt Marcia tickets right on the glass, and he's leaving the ice, and he flips the bird in their direction. So not only did I take it personal on the fact that he assaulted a coyote in the den, then he goes on to flip the crowd. Just so happens to be my Aunt Marcia sitting on the glass. Nathan MacKinnon, you are a fucking reckless individual. And I don't know if you guys saw when he got high sticked and he was bleeding a little bit, how he's licking it in his eyes and how much he loved it. He was probably drinking adrenochrome with Tom Hanks during the fucking lockdowns. This guy is out of his mind. I think that the league needs to take some measures to make sure that this guy doesn't harm anyone moving forward. So I have a bounty on his head when he's at ASU next year coming into the new den. And all you ASU fans out there, you better be there loud and proud, booing this guy every time he touches the puck in our building moving forward. I'll show you blood, buddy. I'll show you blood in the parking lot. You better come with a fucking security crew, Nathan MacKinnon. You can clip it and tag him too, G. Don't fuck with my Desert Dogs, Nate. You already got Kemper. We already fucking gave you a layup of a goaltender. Now you're going to be fucking assaulting our players? You're a clown, buddy. Get your shit together. You and Juwan Howard can maybe get a double discount with a Biz20 promo code on anger management.
Tell your Aunt Marcia to stop sticking her tongue between her index and middle finger when he's coming off the ice at the poor kid, and he won't flip her off. She's a disgusting bissonette, just like yourself. And tell Dyson
You watch
Mayo
your mouth too, fucker.
Tell Dyson Mayo to keep his stick on the ice. Actually, the kid literally was just trying to pick up his stick to like secure a 1-goal win, and all of a sudden MacKinnon loses his mind. The craziest part about the fight was Mayo had the best of him, and then MacKinnon got up, and then the linesman is legit holding Mayo as McKinnon's just delivering lefts to the side of his temple. I was like, Liney, let him go, let him go. I don't think he knew what was going on. Sometimes these linesmen, they try to break up the fight, but it's too late. One guy's free. But MacKinnon is a snap show, and it's part of what makes him so great. He loses his mind during games, which probably helps him become a better player. But at times it hurts him a little bit, but he was losing it in Phoenix.
He should be getting carried out in the Hannibal Lecter costume before every game. That's how fucking crazy this guy is now. I don't know, man. As far as superstars are concerned, I've never seen all right, who was the last superstar you saw have a switch that would flip like this guy?
I mean, there's tons of them in my area. I mean, you know, Neely, Kachuk, Lindros, like all Katucket. I mean, those guys were fucking phenomenal, and they were all kind of snap shows like that. I just don't think we don't see it as much anymore. So when it happens with a superstar, it's kind of an anomaly. So, you know, guys just don't fight like they used to. But it's entertaining as hell, man. He definitely flipped out. He didn't get a fine or anything.
And if this is payback for the sandbagger Nate Dogg, and I mean, hey, that was the first. Hey, and I stuck up for him. I think it was last podcast or the podcast before about him slashing the ref. I take it back. I denounce my backup of the Nate Dogg. I think he probably deliberately slashed that ref because he probably dropped the puck 2 millimeters on the other guy's side, so he was able to snap it back. And then going back to the sandbagger, I hit a couple good shots, and then he's threatening me. And we couldn't even post some of the stuff on the actual sandbagger. He probably would have had a couple games sussy if we would have showed the league what he said to me on the golf course. So I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know how I feel about this moving forward. Is he invited back, Whit, for round 2? I think it's
good for the game, Biz. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, I bet until somebody's safety's in the way. So I've seen enough.
We're not telling you a team yet, Biz. Arizona, I mean, they were in the news quite a bit this week. Them in Ottawa, they had the wackiest game on Saturday. Just they made history, believe it or not. The Yotes were up 4-0. You turn around 10 minutes later, Ottawa's up 5-4. Then you turn around a few minutes later, Ottawa's up 8-5. Nick Schmaltz, he set a franchise record with 7 points in the game, 2 goals, 5 assists rather. He broke a record of 6 that 4 guys had held. It was the first 7+ point game since Sam Gagner 10 years ago had 8 points. And this is a wild one, Biz. The first team in NHL history to trail after taking a 4-goal lead and yet still win the game by 3+ goals. That's fucking crazy. They're up by 4 and then losing and went down. Then they end up winning by 3. So that's notes, boy.
We saw the barn burner with Detroit and Toronto not too long ago, and this one, lived up to the Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl expectations of the fact that 2 of the bottom feeders of the league were going at it. And I mean, Schmaltz was injured at the start of the season. He missed some time, came back. It took him a couple games to get his feet, but ever since, him and Clayton Keller have been lighting the lamp. And I don't know what somebody sent me, a couple people sent me videos of Avery chirping Clayton Keller. I mean, he's having quite the season. He's at a point per game, and so is Nick Schmaltz. So at the fact that we got a San Gagne type for performance and a guy who set a franchise record, that's a big deal for the Coyotes, going into the back half of the season. So as long as those guys are pumping it out with the contracts they have, I'm happy. And going back to Kells, man, I think he's got 23 goals, 28 assists right now for 51 points. How about that math, Whit? And
nice, dude. Good job. Congrats. Didn't
end
in 8 though, so RA is twitching.
I'm like, yeah. Definitely
I'm more interested in one thing when it comes to the Coyotes, and shout out Clayton Keller, BU guy. I would have done anything to be a fly on the wall with Matthew Schneider and members of the Coyotes going at.
Oh, we're going to go right to the arena situation.
Going at how much of a disgrace next year and the next few years will be playing in ASU. It really is upsetting for a lot of guys. Apparently, there was one player just furious in there. Why don't you explain what happened, RA?
Absolutely. Another note with the Yotes players and staff. They had a meeting with the CEO, Xavier Gutierrez, and NHLPA Special Assistant Matthew Schneider was there as well. Elliot Friedman, buddy of ours, he described the meeting as, quote, intense, end quote. And Schneider said, there aren't any good answers for the players in the short term. And the players asked, how did it come to this? It's just, they're wondering. I've been saying it for months now. Like, I feel these are the guys I feel bad for. The guys on this fucking team who are getting treated like JV athletes and they're fucking playing in the NHL. And they don't even know if this arena's going to be there yet, or if they're going to be playing at this college yet, or if they're going to get sold. Everything is up in the air. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. It's like they're relegated, like I wrote in the outline. It's like they're relegated because it's almost impossible for them to be competitive. And, GM Bill Armstrong, he's a good guy, but he said to the fourth period, David Pagnotta, that the whole plan right now is to just take on contracts for draft picks. So they're not going to have anything going on for the next couple of years. So if you're playing on that team, you just kind of basically hoping you fucking get called up and get traded somewhere. And the NHL is so pot committed to it. It's like, it's a point of pride, I think, with Bettman or whoever, one of the team there, like they fucked it up when they sent it to Glendale. It should have never been in Glendale. They sent it there, and they sealed the fate then. And they're just pot committed at this point. They fucking have egg on their face, and they won't take it off. And it's just a brutal situation for these guys. I feel awful for them.
You know what my biggest fear is?
What, Biz? That you're going to get a call to play for them again?
You fucking asshole. No, my biggest fear is that for the first time in our organization's history, at least in Phoenix and Arizona, that we get the first overall pick.
And he says no.
And we get an Eli Manning type of situation. That's my biggest fear right now. And apparently a lot of the prospects and younger players who, agents are calling in saying like, this is too much of a shit show. Matthew Schneider had to represent some of the players because they wanted to be unnamed because, they didn't want it to come back to haunt them as far as maybe ownership and the general manager finding out. And I'm not saying that would ever happen, but that's the reason why you have a guy at the PA who's going to represent you on these calls. But I would say the biggest level for concern is the fact that there is no plan other than being at ASU. If you told me that they had the land locked up in Tempe and the build was starting in 4 to 6 months, I say this constantly. People are like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? Well, not only am I the Bagel boy and I don't know what's going on, I don't get this type of information, is throughout the entire time I've been involved with the organization, whether when I was playing or in the media side of it, is you hear about things are going to happen that don't usually transpire. So I put no stock into what I'm told from people about, yeah, this is going to happen. We're going to have like an LA Live type of situation. I can only be optimistic at the fact that it happens because I think that hockey can work in the desert. The market makes total sense with the growth in the market. You just need the rink in a solid location. I've told the story on the podcast before. Shane Doan went to the place in Scottsdale and they put the shovel in the ground and did the photo op. And then all of a sudden, Glendale, being one of the fastest growing cities at the time, not the type of place you want to put a rink, as we know from the Canada situation in Ottawa. Even when things aren't going great in a Canadian market, if you don't have the rink downtown or somewhere where there's tons of action, it will come back to bite you in the ass. They got the land for free. They built a beautiful facility that they thought was going to work because the football was going to work, where it's like they got 8 home games a year and they have a massive parking lot there because, well, you're in the middle of nowhere. And that works. Not 41 home games driving 45 minutes. You can't booze much because you then have to drive home or you got to spend $150 on a fucking Uber. Yes, RA, completely agreed. Dumb decision from the beginning, and it's haunted this organization the minute they ended up building that rink out there.
And to get them, the part of it's the land for free and all the breaks on the money, and it's like, any business, I watched that Boeing documentary, check that out on Netflix. It's like whenever somebody tries to cut corners to save money, it bites you in the ass later on. And that documentary is heartbreaking. You got to check it out. But I think one of the biggest issues, there's so many, is when you turn in and say Minnesota's in town to play ASU college hockey next year, Big Ten Network has it on, and you see it on TV, it's one thing. When you see your NHL team playing there next year and you see what that's going to look like on TV, that will be the worst part about it, because you can tell right away how small it is on TV, and that's going to be the major issue. So we've gone into this a million times, but I was very curious to kind of hear about Merrick and Elliott talking about the meeting that they had and how upset players are. And I guess Gutierrez did a great job in terms of like kind of understanding where they come from. And I almost think this goes more on Bettman than it does on him. And I feel bad for Bill Armstrong because he did a great job in St. Louis. He got the job, and this guy, he has no chance. I mean, not saying no chance to like be there. Like, he should still be there for a while, but like talk about being stuck in a rock and a hard place. This isn't on him at all. It's just a brutal situation that the league has caused.
And to go to that point, when I wasn't criticizing him, I mean, that's the plan. If you're the GM, of course you're going to do that. You take on contracts and get draft picks and build for the future when that's your team. But when there's no, like, the future is what? Fucking Arizona State. If they don't get this arena, then what? From
my understanding, if they don't lock it up in the next year, RA, they're going to start looking to move the team elsewhere.
Right. And the thing is, like, if the NHL wanted to move them, they could make it happen in a day. They could reach out to business interest and they could make a sale happen in a fucking week if they wanted it in Houston or Kansas City. But the NHL, it's like, I think they think if it leaves Arizona, it makes them look bad. It's like, you can't look any worse than you do fucking at this stage of the game, because we know hockey works anywhere. Desert, Florida, fucking Tennessee. It don't matter, man. If you have in a good spot, people come. And we saw it when the Coyotes first got there, when they were in Phoenix. Fans went all the time. The Glendale was the fucking debacle. So we beat this drum enough to death. So I'm going to talk to you about Mattress Firms for a second. America has a problem. Everyone is exhausted and out of it because they're not sleeping in a bed that's right for them. And the sleep they're getting sucks. That's problem has a name. It's called junk sleep. So you can unjunk your sleep at Mattress Firm's President's Day sale from now until March 8th. Save up to $500 when you get a king bed for the price of a queen, or a queen for the price of a twin. Stop by one of their locations with beds starting at $159.99 with immediate delivery, or you can save $300 when you shop Tempur-Pedic at America's #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer. This is where I got the bed I'm currently sleeping on. I say it every week because it's true. I don't lie when I say these stories. Over in Dorchester, Mattress Firm was there. The service was unreal. Got my bed 2-3 days. Super comfy. You won't be disappointed at all. You don't have to pay through the nose. Service is awesome. Bed is awesome. So to unjunk your sleep, go to mattressfirm.com or go to Mattress Firm in person. Speak to a sleep expert, and they will take care of you.
I need a new one. When I went and got my last mattress, I got a little too stiff.
Oh, no, man. I'm legit, dude. I went right to Mattress Firm. They hooked it up. Good stuff. Like I said, you're not pay up the wazoo. So
I tried, I don't even know if they sell these at Mattress Firm, but I tried to get what's the memory foam? What do they call the big dog ones? Isn't there a name?
Tempur-Pedic.
Yeah, Tempur-Pedic
memory foam.
Oh my! Sure. As if I wasn't pathetic in the wrapper enough. I got this thing. You get no bounce back. You got to work for every single push. And like, I got the angry inch, so it's just like, it's basically like, it's like not doing nothing. So yeah, I had to return the Tempur-Pedic. No offense to Tempur-Pedic, and if they sell them, it's just you don't get the extra push.
It's like playing basketball in the old like Converse as opposed to the new age soft. Like
that's a great point.
Exactly. You get no support for your poor hog.
All right, boys. I mentioned it in the introduction. We had our first coaching ejection in 4 years. Our buddy Coop, he got the gate, man. There was a scrum in the Pittsburgh game that I guess there had been some shitty calls early in the game, and Tampa Bay ended up shorthanded. So Coop was going at Wes McCauley and kept going at him. You know, Wes ended up chucking him from the game. I think we've seen other coaches, no names, Hot Rod, go really, really crazy and not get tossed. He might have got fined, but anyways, Coop got tossed from the game. But it is noteworthy he did not get fined. I thought he might have, because usually when coaches get tossed, they get fined. So I think the NHL maybe thought he got punished enough because, you know, he's a guy, he's well respected, he's been around, and you know, some refs you just don't know where their line is, and Wes McCauley's was at that point, and he tossed Coop, and you know that was that, but there was no fine, and everybody's moving along. Did you see the video, Biz?
Yeah, sorry, I did see the video, and funny enough, Wes McCauley chucked Mike Sullivan from a game before, so you know both coaches in that game have been tossed, and I'm not saying a word because I'm a big Coop fan. And I'm also a big Wes McCauley fan. He was my favorite ref. So easy to talk to. Just a great guy. Has some funny clips of him being 2 minutes for fighting. You know, he gets all into the announcements of the penalties. So I don't know what happened, but Coop did say, I don't think anything I said he'd never heard before. But who knows? Maybe Wes was just having a tough night. Maybe he was hungover. He had a big night in Tampa the night before. Who knows? But I think that, you know...
I think every Hall of Fame coach needs, a good snap show. You know, he didn't bring it too far over the line. He didn't go full Jim Playfair. It was a chippy game. I mean, to the point where Letang and Point ended up fighting in that one.
I didn't have that in my bingo card.
And I'll tell you what, Point can throw for a little guy. I thought it was a pretty decent scrap for a couple superstars, but it seemed to us as if though Pitt maybe got the advantage on a few calls, and I can understand why Coop got the wires crossed, but I was joking around the TNT broadcast about him having to hit the indica, but I don't think it's recreationally illegal in Florida, so he can't even do it down there.
I know you can like walk around this state on bath salts, like with like no shoes on, but you can't smoke weed or bet on sports. This place makes no sense.
And you can drive around town in golf carts.
Exactly.
What is happening down there? It's ass
backwards.
Not have
internet.
And also too, he was pissed about the Pittsburgh stuff. He said that team, for some reason, they're by far the lowest penalized team in the league. I'm not sure why, but they are. And someone pulled up stats online, and apparently Pittsburgh isn't nearly as penalized as other teams. So I don't think there's a conspiracy theory there, but I don't know, little referee drama never hurts. No referees got punched this week, so I guess that's a good thing. Duncan Keith returned to Chicago after he had left for Edmonton. He won, of course, 3 Stanley Cups in Chicago. Key part of those teams. It was Nicholas Schamelson night as well. And Biz, you said there were little tummy sticks at the ice there. It was Jonathan Taves, Schamelson, Duncan Keith. I mean,
no tummy sticks. I don't know if you guys saw the ceremonial face-off. Duncan Keith didn't want to let Taves win it, so he was trying to snap it back. And I think I've told the story before. When I was at under 17, we were playing Team Pacific, and Brent Seabrook was our captain, and we had Nathan Horton. And they were doing the ceremonial face-off, and usually you let the home team win it. These guys were fucking just like they were Duncan Keith and Taves going at it, stick battling. And next thing you know, the puck is below the goal line and tensions were high. But this one was more of a lighthearted one, but definitely got a chuckle out of the crowd. And that wasn't it that was going on with the pucks. All right. There was more, there was Puckgate.
Well, quickly, before we get to Puckgate in the crowd, the funniest thing was that so many fans or people on Twitter with their stupid responses. They're like, who's this guy dropping the puck? Who is this guy? Nicholas Hjalmarsson's probably lost about 15 pounds since he retired. He had the turtleneck on and the shaved head. I'm like, that's a stalwart that won 3 Stanley Cups with the Blackhawks. People had no clue.
That the Blackhawks fans were tweeting that out?
I don't know. No. I'm sure it was like on our account.
It was probably Barstool Chief. That's probably who's this bald guy dropping the puck?
Super Nintendo Chalmers. Yeah, a great player. One of the best defensemen of his era. They also too, they had a big video for Duncan Keith. But Biz, you're talking about the pucks. Yeah, he was doing his warm-ups, and there was a woman there. She had a Duncan Keith shirt on. begging him on the glass. She had a sign for him. He throws the puck up. I don't know if he threw it to her or the kid or whatever. She caught it. The kid looked up at her, and, you know, some people like see the little cute kid and throwing the puck. She wasn't having it. I think she even said, like, I'm not giving it to you. Obviously, she had the Duncan Keith shirt on. I didn't expect her to. And then the kid was starting to get upset. He did another lap, come over, gave the kid a puck, and everybody was crying. It was like a fucking, like, tear fest. I mean, tears of joy, but it was just like, I don't know. It was
not from the kid. The kid was like 11 years old, and he's crying because he didn't get a puck. I'm going to be honest.
I thought he cried after he got the puck, though. I knew he was.
No, he cried when she fucking beat him in the jump ball.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way that Duncan Keith was looking at her, he was like, "Hey, you," and he pointed to the lady. She had not only a jersey, but she'd made a sign. And this brings up my point. Everybody online jumped down her throat about how she didn't give the puck away to the kid. This kid wasn't like an infant in the 3, 4, 5 years old age. He was 11 years old crying because he didn't get a puck. If that was my kid, I'm not even gonna say what I'd do if it was my kid. I think if a grown up
go attack her.
I think, yeah, exactly. Or work on your vertical like Merzlikins. If you make a sign as an adult, the amount of effort that takes, I think that trumps any kid crying, regardless if it was a 3 or 4 year old. And for you people out there jumping down her throat, she obviously was over the moon, had the jersey on, had probably been a longtime fan, to the point where she might have even let Duncan Keith take a shit on her chest. That's the look that she was giving him as he was skating over.
Then she was going to drown that kid.
In what?
I was just going to say, in what, a beer, RA? There's no water at the game.
What are you talking about? Drown the kid? How? In what? Her tears?
Like, Grinelli's the only one who gets it.
I'm laughing because I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
She was
all right. You need to explain this joke.
She was extremely, extremely excited that Duncan Keith gave her a puck. Very excited, over the moon.
Oh, you're saying she was drowning in her pants. Oh my God. Okay.
A lot of fucking dots.
I'm going to try to get that visual out of my head.
Excuse me.
Panty soup is what you're referring to, RA. Now I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I know. I
wrote you taking her side. You know, everyone always sticks up for the kids. Fuck the kids.
Jordan. The Jordan meme. Fuck
this
them
made the
kids.
good point that the kid was probably 9-10 years old. So it's like they haven't won a cup in 7 years. It's not like he grew up and watched. I mean, he was probably in diapers, maybe, if that, when they last won it. She probably experienced all that shit. I sided with your biz on Twitter. I got you back.
I think if you're over 10 years old and you're crying on the glass, I would refuse to give you a puck. In fact, I would make sure every single person around you got a puck till all the pucks on the ice were gone. I would be like Chris Versteeg with the pucks in warm-up, just like he was in the bag skate practice that you're with him in Florida for, and make sure and I would look at I'd point on the glass. I stop, you're fucking crying. And then maybe you'll get a puck. I heard a rumor that he threw his number on it for the lady. That's just what's coming up. Yeah, that's what I heard. Wow. That's what I heard. I'm sure they might have had a couple cocktails after the game. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. A couple more Black Hawk notes here. Tyler Johnson and Riley Stillman had both returned to the lineup. Johnson had the ADR surgery, the same one Jack Eichel got, and both those guys looking fine out there. So Buffalo looking even more dumb that the fact that these guys are playing well after getting that surgery. They don't want them to get. Gee, what's up?
How about Jack Eichel scoring that game-winning goal, which was incredible, by the way, and then Max Pacioretty just RKOing him after he scores, just grabbing him by his neck and just pulling him right down. If I was a Vegas fan, I would have been losing it.
Yeah, he's like,
shows
welcome
how
back.
Healthy he is.
Welcome back to the LTIR. Boom.
Stone's ready to play. We're gonna put you out.
So let's talk about how they even got that power play. One of the worst tripping calls of the season so far.
Pick.
I don't know where they had their table reservation, but that's obvious that they had to get out of that rink at a certain time to get there.
A one-handed, just hit him in the shin pads, and the guy falls over because he couldn't skate on his own, and they've just ruined. That was horrific call. But to concentrate on the good things in hockey on Sunday evening, the change, I know this is just quick because we won't go into it, but take a look at the change that Anaheim pulled off in overtime to beat the San Jose Sharks with Rickard Rakell getting off the bench at the opposite end from where I think Henrique changed and getting a breakaway. Just a sick play you can go check out on NHL.com, but an awesome little move by Dallas Eakins to get Anaheim a big win. So go right ahead. I'm sorry to change the subject quickly.
Did you think that was too many men because he wasn't 5 feet within the bench? You thought it was okay? Okay. I think that was good. He did a good job of straddling the blue line, the way Biz straddled his old lady on his Tempur-Pedic mattress. So I thought it was an interesting play. Moving right along, a couple more Blackhawk notes. They were in the news as well this week. They also named Kyle Davidson as their GM. He said basically they're going to be kind of going this rebuild mode, and they're going to involve Kane and Taves, obviously the two legends of the franchise. They're going to be UFA'd, both of them, after next season. He said there won't be any surprises on their end. We plan on, talking to them and doing what they're going to let them know basically what they're going to do. And I don't know, they'll probably stick it out for another year. But Patrick Kane said it would be a privilege and an honor to be a Blackhawk for life. So we'll see what happens there. And also, apparently, Marc-Andre Fleury, actually, Busy said earlier, he's probably not going anywhere. Just want to note, like, the team, if they don't trade him, they're really deferring to him because they don't have to not trade him. He doesn't have, like, no move clause. They could trade him and say, fuck you. But I think he's such a respected guy. And, they might maybe want to try to keep next year. But it's kind of a nice thing they're doing, I guess. I mean, because not a lot of teams would do that. I mean, they're basically giving up their rights for what they could do to the guy, right?
What if he got dealt to Toronto and he's like, nah, I'm not going?
Oh, that would be so good.
I'm going to retire.
That might have been, they actually don't need him because I don't know if you guys saw the box score right now. After one period, it is 3-0 for the Leafs over Columbus. So the goaltending is back, baby.
If they can somehow blow this game, I will be the happiest person on planet Earth.
I don't know how long we're going to go much longer before we throw it over to Robo, but are we going to talk about that Dallas and mini game on the TNT broadcast?
That was our next subject right there. I actually, one more key thing. Did you see the tribute when he come back to the Oilers before the Chicago game where they had the stick ceremony when he walked into the locker room? Do you ever see that before when a guy comes back from injury? All the players. Did you see the clip I sent? It was, they all had their sticks. So when a wedding and people hold the swords like a Marine gets married, it was like that. He walked in and all the players had the sticks up and like a red carpet. I never seen anything like that before. Did you, Biz? Like, it was different, I guess. I don't know if it was unusual or what for a guy to come back from injury and have all the players out there with sticks up. Wait, you ever see that before?
It's just a fun thing to teach.
It was because he was in Chicago and they were just being silly about it. And there was like a red carpet that led all the way to a stall that was dressed up and, congratulations on coming back here and dominating the NHL and being a Hall of Famer, first ballot. Keep the change, Duncan Keith.
It was in Edmonton. All right, Biz, we usually do your TNT.
Oh, that was in it. Are you sure that was in Edmonton? Are you sure that was in Edmonton?
RA, when
are you sure that was in Edmonton?
You know what?
Because I remember seeing that. I know that locker room. I closed out a playoff series there with the Arizona Coyotes.
I'm going to bet you $100, Biz. Off.
Let's go. Let's go. I want that 100.
All right. Time out, guys. Title from Sportsnet: Oilers roll out the red carpet for Duncan Keith's return to Chicago.
Wow,
right,
that's a tough one.
I'll DM you.
$100. Oh,
yeah, whatever.
You know what? Just make sure we got flour on the next trip, and then we'll call it even, my friend.
Is that like Marc-Andre Fleury, or like is that a euphemism for something?
It could be. You know exactly what I'm saying, but it was a good little transition to the fact that I got to mention flour.
Once he gets traded to the Leafs, turns it down, and retires, he'll join the show. He means.
Yes.
And G, you made a good point. I included the tweet, and it says right there, "Return to the United Center." I got so caught up in the video, I didn't even read the.
All right, I think you're getting a little bit too relaxed on that couch. We might have to take it away from you. I think you have to return that couch to your buddy. Or your who would you say was your father-in-law?
Yeah, my old man.
Your old man.
Yeah, no, I'm not going back on that fucking other chair. No, Biz, the TNT stuff. We usually do that off the top, but it was a Dallas game this week, so we wanted to save it for a little later because we have a Dallas Star on this week. They played Minnesota the other day. Unreal game. Give us your take on the game there, Biz.
So, well, as far as these two teams, one treading in one direction, one treading in the other. Dallas. They're starting to get a little bit of that secondary scoring. The back end's looking a little good. That Jake Ottinger. I look back to that 2017 draft. I mentioned it on the broadcast too. They ended up getting Heiskanen third overall. They got Ottinger. I want to say he was 26th. And in the second round, they got Jason Robertson. So that's the type of draft that's just going to change the direction of the organization. they're getting contributions from other guys too, and they're really starting to play a good team game. Now Minnesota, they look like shit ever since, I want to say, a round of that outdoor game time.
Till we saw them, we reversed Chiclets, boosted them.
Yeah,
remember they went on a run. Murley said they were like 9-0-1 after we got there, and then we brought it up, and that's what mushed them.
Oh, we mushed them. We mushed them right after that. They can't get any saves. Kokkonen, his rebound control is a nightmare. As far as their penalty kill is concerned, it's atrocious right now. Whether that has to do with goaltending or the 4-man units that they're sending out there, I have no clue. Am I concerned about them moving forward? Not really. I think they have a pretty deep team. They just got Dumba and Zook off the IR. That's going to help out a lot because Zook was coming back, they had to put Greenway on the IR as well. So I don't know if this is a team that's going to end up making a trade at the deadline, but they do need something to spark them to go into the second, or I guess the last 1/3 of the season to get going before the playoffs. Because right now it's looking ugly. I think they've won like 4 games in their last 15 or something ridiculous. So, but as far as the
fact that next year I think it's $8 million, in the year to 2 years after it's like $10 million for those buyouts of Parisi and Suter. I mean, they kind of had to do it, and at times it's really helped this year. But that sucks for the next few years trying to deal with that, with the cap not going up at least next year.
Yeah. On top of that, I think we have a new TNT between the bench analyst, Tyler Seguin, after he scored. Well, I think that he originally got credit for it off his shoulder, but then they gave it to Pavelski, unless they ended up changing it back again. But he was talking with Panger, and I mean, if you want to boost up the female viewership, get him between the benches shirtless.
You know, that stuff, Biz, I said on Twitter, they should. I know you can't plan for it. It was very impromptu, but that should happen more often. Just like I have a guy go over and kind of give us 2 cents. I thought that was really like good shit, man. Like, just Sagan popped over. It wasn't planned. It wasn't like thought of ahead of time. What he said actually was what happened. He basically said exactly what the ruling was.
You should be a producer, first of all, RA, and that's a genius idea. Every time there's a goal being reviewed, they should put the headset on the guy who potentially scored it, watching over and over and giving his insight. That's a genius call, RA. Once in a while.
Yeah. I fucking was a broken clock twice a day, that type of thing.
Well, so even a blind squirrel can find a nut, unless it's the squirrel that RA was feeding
clam chowder
to in the park that day.
It happened. Another note from that game, Riley Tufte, he was Mr. Hockey in Minnesota high school 6 years ago, won a pair of titles at Minnesota Duluth. He was supposed to play his first NHL game back in November, and he got scratched at the last minute after he bought a shitload of tickets. Well, the other day, that was his first game in Minnesota. He ended up scoring a goal. And it's kind of funny how like life plays out. I was going to ask you, Biz, would you rather like go through the misery of getting scratched after buying all those tickets to score your first goal in that game, or be able to play that first game and not score a goal?
Well, I think that's the hockey gods helping him out and giving him the shit sandwich rebound from Kokkonen and just giving him that nice little scoop and play. So congrats to him. And they were talking about he won a national championship, two national champions with Minnesota Duluth. So to score not a big deal, to score in front of the home crowd like that is freaking awesome, especially having gone through the situation where he bought all those tickets and got thrown under the bus.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome thing. I mentioned Jason Robertson's 2 hat tricks over the weekend. We didn't even mention the first one. Friday night, overtime, he got his 3rd goal, and he was out of gas, made that sick move, kind of got tripped, and he just fell into the boards. It was like the anti-celebration. He like did the dead man's float and just laid there. It was like, I don't know, was it technically a celly, Biz, or no? What was your verdict?
Well, we did the caption contest, and I said 5 minutes after I dump one into my belly button before my pregame nap. That was my caption. He deserves the rest. What was your caption? Did you get one in there?
I don't know if I put one or not. I think. Oh, I wrote a blog. I call like the dead man's float because he was just looked like a fucking dead guy. Looked like he was passed out or whatever. I don't think I did that a caption.
I think that's going to be the new one. The weekend at Bernie's. Just passed out and looked like the dead. I think a kid had one either in the American League, or I think he might have played for Belleville recently, and he scored in overtime and he just left the ice. Gee, did you see that? Was it Belleville?
I thought it was Manitoba.
Manitoba.
The Moose.
Yeah.
But that was awesome.
That was what Merle's tried to do. So Merle's did that in Game 7. Maybe it wasn't Game 7. We played Hartford in one of the rounds. Wilkes-Barre did on our run to the finals. We lost to Milwaukee. We got swept in the Calder Cup finals, but Merle scored a game winner to win the series. And it was crazy. And he always wanted to score a game winner and run off the ice like a basketball game winner, and they run to the locker room. So he did it, but he totally didn't realize that you have to shake hands after, so the puck has to come back onto the ice to shit. There's a clip of it on. I think I liked it or responded to a tweet, but it's hilarious because I actually go to hug him and he just takes off down the runway, and I'm like, I'm looking around. I'm like, what's going on? But
comes back out in his suit.
And that kid, when he did it on Manitoba, he gets off the ice and he kind of bodies the other team's backup goalie who's sitting at the door. It was a good one.
What do you think, boys? Should we send it over, Robert, or what?
Yeah.
Robert, this point, yeah.
Great kid.
Oh, awesome kid. Great interview. But yeah, super nice kid. So I do want to let you know this interview is brought to you by Sport Clips. I don't take my broken phone screen to a mechanic for the same reason I don't trust my hair in the hands of my grandma's stylist. I want someone who specializes in me, and the experts at Sport Clips are trained specifically for guys' hair. They have an MVP of haircut experience. Awesome haircut, hot steamed towel, invigorating shampoo, neck and shoulder treatment. It takes a haircut and it turns it into an event. It takes your day and it turns it into a mancation. It'll have you walking out feeling 10 feet tall with the confidence that says, bring it on. Sport Clips also has an online check-in, so you never have to wait for your cut. Sport Clips, the pros in men's hair. And now enjoy Jason Robertson. All right, it's time to bring out our next guest. A second-round pick by Dallas at the 2017 draft. This California-born left wing finished second in Calder Trophy voting last season and was named to the NHL All-Rookie team. He's already hit the 20-goal mark this season and has an impressive 92 points already in his first 93 NHL games. It's a pleasure to welcome one of the league's bright young stars to the Spittin Chiclets podcast, Jason Robertson. How's it going, my friend?
Good. No, I'm glad to be here. It's pretty exciting, so it's pretty.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. So, what are you guys in Chicago right now on a little road trip?
Yeah, we just flew in about 2 days ago from Colorado, so we came in and had the day off yesterday and went to their practice rink today. So we're just chilling out. I think Chicago's actually playing tonight, so we'll get them on a back-to-back tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's
There
the
you go.
best. Did you tell any of the vets you were coming on?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I think Segi found out, and then once he found out, he just he's just chuckling and whatever, seeing what I'm gonna do. But we'll see. I told my buddies were like, fired up, like, I never really do any of this stuff, so they were pretty fired up and interested to see what they would say. So
how's Segi's cologne doing? Do guys in the locker room give it to him about the ads that came out about the cologne?
Oh, it's sometimes it's overwhelming. I think it wasn't so much this year, but last year, or maybe it was in the bubble. They brought it up, and I was a young guy, so I didn't know anything about it. But he loves looking good, right? Especially for warm-ups.
Yeah, before you got there was that famous picture of him flexing his abs and stuff, and then they had that fake poster of the girls in Boston when he ended up. Was it when he came back to town, RA, about the prom or something?
Yeah, something a little outside the limits of what would normally be on a sign. I didn't know if that was fake or real or not, but
It is fake, I think.
yeah. It was pretty outrageous stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they allow you to bring that in.
Maybe in the O when you're playing in Kingston. Yeah. I don't know about the show, though.
Yeah.
So there'll be nobody there to see it, so stop you. No disrespect, but
so you guys are in the thick of basically a playoff race right now. Do they almost have a playoff feel about some of these games? Because you lose one, you kind of dropping back a little bit. What have these games been like lately?
Yeah, I mean, especially after the All-Star break, we came in and these games are getting pretty tight. We just had a home and home to Colorado, and it was hard to have a playoff mentality for Colorado because they're such a good team. We want to get just get those 2 points. And but the other night against Winnipeg, we played Winnipeg, and that was heavy, hard checking game. Everyone on our team is just getting more physical because we're a physical team, so we're just really getting in there. And these games, these are important games, especially these central games. There's like 4-point swings, so everyone's just buying in right now, and it's honestly, it's pretty fun to play in. These games are really fun. These important games, these points, they mean so much. So it's really fun to be out there and especially win the games.
One of your line mates this year, Joe Pavelski, obviously a well-respected leader. Like, we know what he does on the ice, but what does he bring to the locker room that raises the guys inside?
His voice. He's one of the loudest guys in the room. He's someone who, he'll always go up to you and give you a sick tap before he goes on the ice. He's the first guy on the ice. He's just ready to fire the guys up. It's just a phenomenal leader, and to have him on my line, it's just, I just learned a lot from him, a lot of different little skills and everything. He's been a great mentor to me, and he's been a great, God, I think he's on pace for 90 some odd points. He had 4 points the other night. So he's putting the puck in the net.
It's crazy. He's drinking from the fountain of youth. And I think his comments were, I don't know if it was Witt who talked to him or Grinelli, but he said that you're a sponge. It's like every day you show up to the rink, you're just ready to learn off him and these other veteran guys and keep advancing your career.
Yeah. I mean, he's the first guy on for morning skate. He's 37. He's still out there doing it, getting his tips in. Although I'm not really getting in the net with him,
You're more of a perimeter guy, eh?
Yeah. I'm actually on the side of the net when he goes out with the goalie. When he tips it, I'm just on the side of trying to get that rebound. Because actually in games that does happen, or I'm just poaching around getting that the free backdoor tip. But he's just so hard worker, everything, and something I aspire to be. That's a long ways away. 15 years younger, I think. So, but when I get to that age, I want to be just like him, still putting up numbers, being a good leader, and still producing. So he's a great mentor, and it's something that's a privilege for me to not only have on my line, but to have on the team.
And tipping pucks, isn't it insane watching him? Like I've said for a long time, best in the league. There's nothing that he doesn't get a stick on.
Yeah, he uses his white stick, so he kind of cracks it really good. He has that all white stick. So I'm trying to get put into tips on how to do it, advice. He's showing these hip movements or whatnot, and not like moving your stick around. But I can't, I can never do what he does. Right? He's been doing it so long, and he's been so good at it. It's just, but I want to get there. I'm going to get there.
You're such a reserved guy from what we hear. Were you nervous when you first got to Dallas with some of these names they got, like the Segans, the Ben? Like, were you pretty quiet in the locker room at first, or are these guys trying to extract your personality out day to day?
Yeah, it was hard because, first I was there for three games. When I was 20, I got called up, and then I was in for the bubble, and the bubble was 70 days. We made it all the way to the final. I was there for the whole 70 days. I didn't play a game. So I just practiced, and it was hard to get into the team because you weren't playing, right? So it was hard. It was a little difficult. But my
RIP hotel room towels.
Well, I racked up my Marriott points though.
Oh yeah.
I certainly did that.
Yeah, up in Edmonton.
Paid up is really nice. It's better than the Sutton.
That run, I know you just played 3 games, but you had an unreal year in the AHL. Was there a chance you might get in the early rounds? Like, were you kind of waiting, or did you know going in it was probably not going to be your time in that playoff run?
I didn't know. It was just pretty. I didn't know much. I just, especially this is after the pandemic, right? This is just coming in. Guys haven't skated for 3 months, and you come in, and obviously, you're one of the extra taxi squad guys, and when you got in the thick of the playoffs, you just start to think, guys we lost about 4 or 5 guys at the end of last year. We lost 4 players to injury. So I actually did take warm-ups twice in warm-ups in the finals. So I have the game worn Stanley Cup patch or whatever jersey, warm-ups
or warm-up worn, we'll say.
Yeah, warm-up worn jersey, and that's hung up in my little game room at home. But
get some puck marks on it, just beat it up a little bit.
Nothing on it, but maybe Gatorade or whatever from.
Are you no bucket in warm-ups? Are you rolling around with showing the flow off in warm-ups now? Or are you still wearing it?
I mean, my first NHL game, this was in Toronto, at the wherever I don't know what the rink's called in Toronto, and they took my helmet, right? They took my helmet off the stall, and I didn't notice that until I got fully dressed. I'm like, I'm not freaking out, but like I asked the equipment guy, like, "Where's my helmet? Where's my helmet?" And either there's chuckling at me or whatever. I'm like, oh God, I'm going to go out there with no helmet. It's going to be awkward. I've never done it before. And I go out there and I'm like, I skate a couple laps and whatever. I'm shooting pucks and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. I can't do this. Like something's going to hit off my head and I'm going to feel like, I'm going to get hurt. So, but that was the only time I wore no helmet. And, it was the last time. I still don't know how guys wear it now because pucks are flying, guys are falling over the place. It's warm-ups. It's a disaster, but
So they basically bullied you into going no bucky your first game, which most guys get that treatment. Another thing we keep hearing is they're trying to bully you into the credit card game when you go for dinner. But I don't want to use the word cheap, but they said you're extremely, extremely frugal.
Frugal. I mean, I don't say that. I like to take care. I take care of the guys sometimes, but I set up the reservation the other night. So,
he made a phone call, because that kind of sounds like you do, but this kid's going to sign for about $60 million at some point.
I wasn't even like, it wasn't an insult. I was the guy selling clothes out of my trunk at fucking training camp, for Christ's sake. So when they do credit card game, will you not partake?
No. I mean, if the whole team's doing it, I'll do it for sure. I'll be in it. I'm not going to say, no, I'm not in it. But I mean, if they're going to ask, I'm like, you know what, if everyone wants to do it, sure. But if they're not going to do it, then whatever. But
another example they gave us was that you usually beat up the same exact suit every game. But you've been playing unreal. So maybe it's a superstitious thing. So you can lean back on that.
Well, actually, and I'll get back to that credit card thing, because I actually had a funny story about that.
Okay.
But the suit, I just, I only have what I'm sure, when you get home from a long road trip, you just throw all your stuff on the ground, right? I don't hang any stuff up. So I end up just having the only suit that's been dry cleaned, and I bring it on the road. And when it's home, it's the only clean suit, and I just keep wearing it and then wearing it until it eventually goes on the ground, and then I clean it up. But last year when we had our relaxed dress code on the road because of COVID, we had a relaxed dress code. Guys would be wearing sweatshirts, jeans, whatever you want, right? And I wore this one polo shirt, and I wore it every time, exclusively. And guys would be like, "Why are you wearing it?" And I don't know. It wasn't so much superstition, but I was having a good year, right? So I just kind of felt professional, and I just wanted to show up and feel good and just feel ready to go. So I wore that for last year. But
I got to hear this credit card game story. I got to hear this.
Yeah. So we had last year, we had our home opener. And then we had the second game. My first game, I didn't know where the guys go out for pregame meal. They go to some place that's just exclusive. It was closed down just for them, though, because of COVID, just for them. And I didn't go my first time because I was nervous. The second time, though, the second game of the season, I ended up going to this place because they said, we'll come over there and whatever. And there's, 7, 8, 9 guys. And I go there, I have my food. They bring out pasta, the stuff. And, they bring out the credit card game. And I never knew that. This was my second game of the season. I was still, rookie, right? I didn't know anyone. And then I played credit card game, and I ended up losing the game, right? And this is my second game. And, you're on the tax squad, so you're not fully on, the payroll. So I go out. I put the card in, I pay for it. I call my mom and say, "Mom, you're going to see like a $500 bill on my statement. I don't need you to worry about it." And then I never went back. I think I got scratched. That was my last game before I was scratched for a few weeks. And then I never went back, and they still go now. And they're asking me, where are you going to come? Like, I had that one bad experience, and I'm probably never going to go back, but we'll see.
Oh, hey, man. Biz, the good thing is that the professional athletes who go bankrupt, you don't usually hear of those guys calling their mom to say, "Hey, beware of this charge that's coming to credit card." So I think you'll be good in the future.
No, they're seeing the Hakkasan 14K on there being like, "Ooh, dude, that's a tough one." But at least I got the air miles.
Yeah, well, I was also 21 and they didn't know anything. Now, the other night we're getting, our little group's getting Wagyu steaks, whatever, and just throwing $100, like heading $100 bills, whatever. My mom, it's just whatever. You're
hitting all these rookie bonuses. You got fucking 4-piece suits coming in. You're just starting to spend it. Get a Lambo, park it next to Sagan and Ben's trucks.
Well, maybe, I don't know. They haven't told me what they've done yet, but what they did.
We got a little running joke. RA likes calling Radulov. What's your name for him?
The Warthog.
The Warthog.
The Warthog. So I got to see this. I got to play against him in the KHL when he was back after his time in Nashville. And I saw him in the parking lot of the CSKA Red Army screaming at some guy whose car was in his way. He was going nuts, and he had 6 points against us. Have you seen him go nuts at all? Like, because he's a lunatic when he loses his mind.
I wouldn't say, I think he's passionate. I think that's what it is. If he's mad at someone, he's passionate about it. You know, he's going to yell at you, he's going to scream at you, but on the ice, I mean, he's just one of the most passionate guys you'll see, really. I mean, off the ice too. Not even on the ice, but off the ice. He's such a great guy off the ice. He's so funny and everything. You know, you don't really, you know, a lot of Russians, I met a lot of Russians that are, you know, like Brad. He's crazy, he's loud, but he's an awesome guy. He's a great teammate. But yeah, I mean, when he scores goals, you know, he'll show you that he scored a goal. I remember he tipped the puck, and he made sure that everyone knew that he tipped that puck. So yeah, he's going on one knee doing his celebration. No, he's so passionate.
What about his fashion? Is he wearing like obnoxious tracksuits to the rink? Because in my experiences with playing with the Russians, they just sometimes the outfits they wear are just atrocious.
Sometimes it's a little bit like, you know, what is he wearing? But he's got that black, you know, all black circle sunglasses sometimes. So, but you know, he's I don't really see him that often away from me, but he sure is a funny guy.
We don't want to get you in trouble with all these vets to try to open up and get you chirping them. But RA, I was going to ask and go back if you didn't have anything about the current team and ask you about the way that you grew up. I read an interesting story about the fact that your old man was a lawyer in California and realized that you guys, well, at least at the time, were very good at hockey, but you needed better development. So he actually stopped being a lawyer, moved you guys to Michigan, took on 2 jobs just to put you guys in hockey there so you could develop your skills. And obviously that's a big bet that paid off. Yeah,
my dad, he's an attorney. He still works. He's still, you know, all around. He comes to games when he can. He moved us to Michigan when I was 10. We realized, you know, we're traveling to Toronto, to Winnipeg, to Chicago, Detroit, and all these, you know, Midwest areas to play hockey, because in California, the AAA hockey, it's better now, but it was weak then. You know, guys, you didn't have enough teams to fill up your own age, so guys would be going to other teams, and you know, go play other teams in the Midwest. So my dad made that decision, or our whole family made that decision to move out to the Midwest, and you know, my dad would commute back and forth from Detroit to Los Angeles, taking red eyes. And, you know, put a lot of pressure on my mom to take care of us, but, you know, she's strong, and she, you know, really worked us really hard and kept us, you know, going. And my little brother and me worked out for us in hockey. I actually had an older brother who played hockey too. And he ended up, you know, hanging up his skates after a year at USC, whatever you call it, club hockey. He played USC, and my little sister there too. But it was a great, you know, like sacrifice for my family. And I'm so glad that, you know, now they could see it. My brother's going to be there soon, and see it pay off.
Now, were you and your brother head and shoulders above the other peers talent-wise when you were in LA? Like, were you guys that much better? Like, all right, man, these guys got to grow somewhere else. Is that a big reason for it? You just being humble?
Well, I like to be a humble guy, but I mean, not only that, it was just, you didn't play against anyone, right? You can't play. You got to want, when
nothing to measure against.
Yeah, that's what my dad wanted. He said, you want to play against the best players. And that's why we moved out there. The best competition was certainly in the Midwest, and then, you know, the Canadian teams too. And eventually there wasn't enough, you know, competition here in California. And then that's why I moved to Detroit. And then eventually, actually, I moved to Toronto when I was 15, my minor midget year too.
You should use that as a bargaining tool to get your brother over to Dallas.
Yeah.
Resign there. Maybe get both the Robertson boys over there.
Yeah, well, I remember we were on a Disney team. We played Disney hockey. It was in Anaheim, and we actually got in trouble for scoring too many goals on one team. You know,
these fucking Robertson brothers.
That's why you had to flee LA.
The Disney adults were after you.
No, this is all my age. Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're building their own compound, right? RA somewhere. Aren't they building the Disneyland?
Yeah. Disney for adults, but we can get to that later, Biz. But I wanted to go back to the OHL. That's when you pretty much found out about it when you moved to Detroit. You used to go to Plymouth Whalers games. Now, did you actually see your future teammate, Tyler Seguin, when you were a little kid?
I think so. I moved there when I was about 10. So it would have been the 10 to 11 season. I think he played his first year in NHL, the 10 to 11 season. Yeah. But I do remember, I don't remember much, but I remember seeing pictures, right? You when I'm a little kid and you go to an OHL rink, you can't tell the difference from an NHL rink, really. You see the pictures of players on the wall and you think, oh my God, like this is super cool, right? That's what you see, guys with visors and, all that stuff. So I do remember seeing his picture up there and a couple of the other guys too.
When you got to Michigan, you start playing against better players, like you mentioned, and there's some unreal programs. You got Little Caesars, all these different, teams you can play on there. What made you end up even going to Toronto? Was it just because the hockey's even better, like looking towards the OHL as your future, or was it something else that brought you up north?
I think I'll be honest. I wanted to go to OHL once I fully made that decision when I was 13 to 14. Kind of like, you see all these guys go to CHL and making the NHL from the CHL. And I wanted when I was 14, I was like, I just want to get the NHL, right? That's all you wanted to do. And, at the time, that's what my family I thought was the fastest way to go CHL. And that's why I ended up moving to Toronto to try to get that exposure to get in the OHL.
You mentioned your mom. She's from the Philippines, and you're the third player of Filipino descent in NHL history. Our pal Tim Stapleton, we've had him before, Matt Dumber, and of course your brother's the other one. Are your games a big hit on TV back in the Philippines? I mean, you must still have relatives back there, right?
I think my whole mom's side moved to Los Angeles. Wow. Yeah, so we have all that side, and I've actually never been to the Philippines, but we'll see how that goes. But on my mom's side, I'll move to California.
All right, you didn't know the Philippines. There's big discussions right now about how to switch up the NHL All-Star game to make it more entertaining. It's enormous over there.
All over the internet. Well,
we need you on Team World with Nathan Walker for like Australia just to grow the game, buddy. We need you.
Actually, no, speaking of world competition, I mean, you must have been really bummed out. You would have made that Olympic team this year.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy to think that a couple of years ago, I bet, but what you've done, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually got an invite about 4 or 5 years ago to play for Team China.
Oh, Billy reached out to you. What's his name's owner?
But it was about 4 or 5 years ago when I think just got drafted, and they had their camp. I don't know what their camps were, but and they asked me if I had any Chinese descent or anything in wherever in your bloodline. If it could be like your great grandmother, brother, or whatever, it's anything. And I was interested, so I asked my mom, and she went back and found a little bit of it. And but I opted not to go that route because I didn't want to go to the camps. I didn't want to do any of this stuff. I just wanted to play for the U.S. And it was unfortunate, but there's always 4 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but Jay, you've also become a role model to not just kids of Filipino descent, but other Asian countries as well. Is that something that sort of comes natural to you, or something you had to get used to? Sort of being this role model for kids from all these different countries that maybe aren't too familiar with hockey.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now at this big stage, that's what I look at. When I was growing up in California, though, I mean, the majority of the players were of Asian descent. Like when I was growing up, I thought it was pretty normal. Because hockey's an expensive sport, especially in California, and you'd see there weren't that many players, so you'd see a lot of Asian hockey players. And then when I moved to Michigan, you don't see that much, and then once I got drafted, I think that's when it clicked in. Like I think someone mentioned to me, I was one of the few guys to be drafted, and that's pretty exciting now because I'll go to away rinks. I remember I was in New Jersey and I saw a lady, I think she was wearing a New Jersey Devils jersey, like the jersey, not the jersey because they have a jersey, but she had a Filipino flag up, and I thought that was pretty cool, and I, gave her stick taps and everything. So that was pretty neat. That's a cool moment for me.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. Have you been watching what just mentioned the Olympics? Have you been watching them at all? Well, I know you're obviously on the road, but
yeah, I mean, whenever it's on TV in the room, I know that U.S. lost yesterday, but and the other U.S. lost 2 nights ago. So, but oh well, well.
No.
It's been a couple tough days for USA Hockey. We don't let Biz.
Yeah.
We're not getting Biz all fired up right now.
Did the training, the program, did they reach out to you at all? I knew you were bound to go in the OHL, but did they ever reach out to you about playing for the national program when you were younger?
Yeah, I didn't really think about the program. It just didn't really come out to me. I know that by the time I kind of made that decision to go to junior to the OHL when I was 15, like I kind of made clear that I just want to go play in the OHL. So I had no opinions on it. It was just something that happened. Just go and play in the OHL.
So what about your draft year? Because, you've seen what you've done in the NHL, point per game player. So I went back to the draft year. You lit it up, over 40 goals, but then you go in the second round. Like, what were the expectations going in? Were you surprised to have dropped that far? What was the whole vibe before the draft and approaching all that time?
Well, actually, fun fact, I just drove past the United Center where I got drafted 5 years ago. So that's, pretty neat. I was talking to a couple of guys on the team that we just got drafted there. But, I mean, that was tough. It wasn't really expectations. You just want to get drafted. When I was, 17, you just want to get drafted. Didn't matter where you went. You just wanted to, get your name called. And I had a good year in my draft year, but the things happen the way they do. And I'll be honest, when I went to the combine, I never talked to Dallas at the combine. I talked to 26 teams. Dallas wasn't one of them. So
holy shit.
Yeah. So
26.
Actually, that was pretty funny. So I talked to 26, 27 teams at the combine in Buffalo. And so, you're going through you're looking at the teams, you're going through the teams. You're like, oh, you talk to this team, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then at the 39th pick, Dallas comes up and I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see. And then they call my name, like, oh God, like I don't know anyone. Like I had not talked one moment to any of these people. And I'm getting introduced to Jim Nill and the owners and everything. And I'm like, you guys even talk to me. And then, they end up telling my dad, it's like, they knew that they wanted me. So they didn't need to talk to me about it. So
they didn't think you were going to be around.
Well, I didn't. I don't think they did, but I don't want to meet.
Jason, did Detroit interview you? Sorry, wait, did Detroit give you an interview?
Yeah, I know. I know Detroit did because I remember that Detroit did. I don't remember all the teams. Some teams were a little like the questions were a little intense. I don't remember the teams, but I remember.
Bullshit. Who fucking grilled you, Jason?
Do you not remember because you smoked a bowl with Yzerman during the interview? Do you not remember after that? Be honest. You know he's got a problem.
No, I mean, I don't remember. I know one team got me to look at video and they had like the laser and whatever and asked me what I would do here and what I do there. And, I'm 17. I just, this is NHL footage. Like, I don't know anything. I'm just no OHL, right? So I don't know if that's the reason why the team didn't draft me. I'm fucking around. I don't.
Were you nervous going to these rooms at 17?
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This was like the first time it's like, really you're meeting the teams, you're seeing these, you're seeing everyone you look up to. I remember seeing Brodeur there. I think he was with St. Louis at the time. Seeing all these Red Hextall, I don't know. These are the only names that come up to me. But you see all these people and it's like, wow, this is like real. They're talking to you. It's not just a phone call or an email because they would send you questionnaires and all that stuff. And you just finally meet these teams. And that's when I really thought, well, this is real. But I'll be honest with you, I was more nervous about the on-ice testing or the off-ice testing than the interviews. The off-ice testing was just it was just a pain, the VO2 and the pull-ups, push-ups and everything. And that was a lot of stress.
What's an example, I guess, of an intense question for a guy like me who's never gone through interviews like that? Like what kind of questions are they asking that freak you out?
I mean, I think one of the questions was, would you want to play 10 years in the NHL and then make the playoffs, or 1 year and win the cup? I think that's one.
Sounds like shit Biz asked.
Fucking You're like, buddy, I want to make bank. What do you think?
How much can I sell my cup ring for?
Yeah, that's a question I'm not going to answer here, but you can take that for what it's worth. And that is a tough question, though. You're 17, and you don't know if it's a trick question or not. And I don't remember. I said,
you don't remember? Okay, well, let's ask it right now. What would you say? You got to say 10 years. Tell him to fuck off. Tell him to shove a cup ring up her ass. I need some fucking security in life.
No, I think I'll be honest. I probably said 10 years. I mean, you want to play in the NHL as long as you can. But maybe in the 11th year you can win the cup, right?
There you go. Is it kind of a whirlwind about how fast it happened? Because, you were drafted, you went to the American League, I believe in Austin that first year. And then all of a sudden you're in the NHL and you're a point a game player. And now you're up for a contract negotiation this summer. Like, has it even set in? Or are you just trying to kind of stay focused? Like, what's your feeling on all of it?
Yeah. I mean, I want to be modest or anything. I've always been offensive guy. I produce, and I've been, fortunate enough to be able to do that. I've been able to play with a lot of great players, play a lot of coaches. So for me right now, it's just, going out there and playing hockey. I'm having fun. I'm in a position where the coach staff and the team, allow me to be out there and do what I do. Right. I'm not, boxed in or whatever. We have that relationship, and it's a privilege really to be able to do that and do my thing out there. But I can't do that without my teammates or anything. So, I'm just I've been in a good spot when I was in Niagara and Kingston, in Austin. When I was playing there, I was in a good scenario where they put me in the top 6. I was able to play minutes and learn. And then, even though I'm disappointed I was in the bubble, I was disappointed I never played in the playoffs. I was there for 70 days and I watched a lot of hockey. And I learned a lot and practiced every day, honestly. So I was getting better, getting more familiar with the coaches and everything. And eventually, last year, just took a few games in a few weeks to hit that stride. And I've been fortunate enough to keep that going.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you strike me as somebody that like hockey's everything to you, and it's been that way for a long time. Or are you a kid who starting when you moved to Michigan, it's like, I want to play in the NHL. This has been the sole focus your entire life?
Yeah, we pretty much did. I remember, when I was 10, 11, 12, my dad would take us to skate in Michigan at 6 a.m. Every day, every weekday. I mean, that's all we wanted to do. We were homeschooled I was homeschooled pretty much until I got to high school in OHL. So it was just exclusively, going to get work done, shoot pucks, go skate, go do whatever you can. And I've been fortunate not only to have the parents to sacrifice to do that for me, but I've also had my brothers Michael and Nick, and my sister Bree, who've had my back, and of course my little brother pushing me, and we pushing each other to get better and everything. Yeah. So it's great to see us be able to, go forward with that.
What's
did you hold on, Biz? Sorry, Biz. Did you ever see in Michigan a little 5'4" guy pushing a truck, running with his dad? Because we just interviewed a guy, Nathan Gerby, whose dad used to make him run home 5 miles after he had a bad practice. So I don't know if you ever caught him at 6 a.m.
No, actually, one thing though, I do remember this. So I was on Little Caesars. I was on Little Caesars. This was during the lockout year, right? So this is there wasn't Detroit Red Wings weren't playing, so we were at the Joe Louis, and I remember when I was 12, and I must have had a bad game or whatever, and my head coach told me to go run the stairs at the Joe Louis, and I was 12 years old running the stairs at Joe Louis in half gear. My mom and dad want me to go home, ready to go home, and I'm running stairs, the old roof all the way up down of the Joe Louis, and I was just. I didn't know any better. I was
do what you're told, right?
Get me back to Disney.
I was just going to transition. You said your coach did that at Little Caesars. Who would you say was the most impactful on your career as far as the coaches you had? Like, was there one guy who really tapped your potential, or untapped, I guess I should say?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have 2 coaches really. I would say the first one is my skills coach. I still Tommy Menino. I still work with him now all the time when I'm in Detroit. I've been working the past 10 years, and he's just, he's always been there for me, always pushing me. I still watch game film of my games now with him, right? So I'm still talking to him. I'm still always in with him, and he's I'm skate with him, skills coach, everything. I work, not only my brother, my whole family's been knowing him for a while. So we're fairly privileged to have that relationship. And for hockey, I think the biggest change for me, I think when I was 17 in my draft year, that's when I kind of knew, like, I had to start becoming more of a pro. I think my coach there, Paul McFarland, he put a lot of onus on me on the ice to become more of a complete player, instead of just a guy who just goes out and scores goals, and he kind of kept me really accountable there. Because I'm gonna be honest, when I was 16, 17, I just wanted to score goals. I just want to go out there. Who doesn't want to go?
Same
out
here,
there?
buddy. And work out. Could have used Tommy Menino or whoever the fuck you said.
Yeah. Oh, you could. Yeah. So he was a good influence on me trying to become a better 200-foot player. But all my coaches are great. Like I said before, I was put in a great scenario, great situation everywhere I went. Wherever I played, the coaches always had my back and let me just be the player I am.
Jason, you pace the offense unreal. 5-on-5 numbers are incredible. Like, what do you attribute your high hockey IQ to? Is it coaching? Is it just natural instincts, knowing where to be? What would you say is the biggest factor for that?
I think it's a lot of reps, just playing a lot of hockey over the years. And also, I have two of the best line mates in the NHL, and our defensemen are top-notch D-man too. So it's no slouch. I'm privileged to have such a good line mates and team to be on, right? So but we get put out in good scenarios, ozone draws, everything. Sometimes Bowen doesn't put me out for D zone draws, kind of feels me a little bit.
Liability.
No, not liability. I just think, he just wants me to get in the ozone, right?
Yeah.
It's like, Biz, it's a contract here. Don't say liability.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. Let's delete that, G. Delete that, or put it as a headline. One guy that we don't really hear a lot about is Rupe Hintz, and we talked about Pavelski already. Like, for people who don't really follow hockey that much, or at least in Dallas, like, what does this guy bring to that lineup?
I honestly think he's one of the fastest guys in the NHL. Once he gets going, he's like a horse. He's just, when he gets up that middle of the ice. I remember last game twice. I just threw a soft. It would have been a soft pizza, like in the neutral zone, to the other team. I'm just like trying to get it in, and I end up throwing a muffin, and he just splits the D for a breakaway, like out of absolutely nowhere. And he got that twice. He got a couple breakaways last game. I remember one year, or not even this year, I dumped a puck in, and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. All right. When you have that moment when you're feeling like, I'm going to hit this guy. I'm going to run this guy over on the forecheck. I'm going to put in his quarter, and I'm going to go skate as hard as I can and try to nail him. I put it in the corner. I'm like getting ready to go, first gear. I look over my shoulder. He's galloping right next to me, and he's gone right in that corner. I'm like, okay, let me slow down. Let him get in the zone. So, and he gets on the forecheck so fast, but his speed's just one of his attributes. He's got good hands, great shot and everything. But I think that explosiveness in the middle of the ice, it just sets him apart from a lot of players.
One guy I know, I think he's currently with the AHL squad right now, but Anton Hudobin. I know you've spent some time with him. This guy, one of the bigger characters in the NHL. Any funny stories about Dobby out there?
Yeah, Dobby's great. That's the things going on right now, but it's the thing honestly, I think the best story for him is the bubble. Oh my God, he was outstanding in the bubble, and he was always there. He was putting, when Bishko went down, he stole games. He really stole games. And when he had that moment saying, we're not going home, whatever, after, I don't remember what game it was, but that was a pretty funny moment when he had the chain around him and everything. So he's a great competitor. And, he's also a great teammate.
And we've made jokes about the contracts and stuff. You're in your last year of your entry-level deal. Is that something you're even thinking about? Or have you just mentally pushed it off till the season, let the agent deal with it?
Yeah, it's hard to do it because you see all these players before, like, I'm growing up, you see all the players ask the same questions, right? You never realize that until they ask you, and then when it's happening, it's real. So But like I said, I go out there and I just play hockey, and I just do my thing. I don't want to change anything. There's nothing much I can do. I just want to go out there and keep helping the team win. So, and I let my agent deal with everything. And I'm comfortable here in Dallas. I love it here. This is a great spot for me, and I'm really fortunate. I was drafted here, and really, and I love Dallas. I love how hot it is.
No more calling mom about the $500 charges. Hopefully after this year, Whit.
Oh, actually, not anymore this year. Oh, now it's full time. Last year, guys would be in and out of the taxi squad.
Hey, but like, you got to be not surprised, but I love playing against Dallas. Like, the fans down there are rabid. I mean, especially when the team's playing well. It's an awesome barn too. Like, you must really kind of look at it and say, wow, I got lucky enough to play in Austin, which is probably the best AHL town. And then I'd say playing for the Dallas Stars has got to be one of the top NHL cities as well.
I mean, I think I've played in, I think I played all but 5 rinks now. So, but I mean, I can adjust the buildings or whatever. But I mean, the location, like, I don't want to bag on Chicago or anything, but it's freezing here. The wind is it's pretty brutal. It was just snowing, and it was raining pretty hard last night. And when you go to Dallas, the weather is outstanding. But the fans, I mean, we were open about 5,000 fans last year, and it was still pretty loud. And now, we got full capacity, and they're singing their songs, and they're really into the skits that they put on the jumbotron and everything. So it's just it's outstanding. And I love our rink. I think our rinks, the layout of our rink's probably one of the best that I've seen. Really, it's just the layers and the colors, and they got all the what do you call it, the cheerleaders and everything. You got all.
Oh, buddy, thank God you mentioned that. They smell unbelievable. When they go by the bench, I would get a half chub every fucking time. They put them. I think they do this on purpose in Dallas. They put all the cheerleaders that have the skates on that go shovel the snow between the whistles. RA, I know RA knows about them, but they put them where the guest team goes out. And I think there's a picture online with Commodore just kind of like staring over, like coming out of the tunnel. Have you had any run-ins with these ladies? Are you guys told to keep your distance? You got the ones on the concourse with the pom-poms. Like, I mean, come on. I can't be the only one getting half chubs when I played there.
I mean, it's still there. I mean, they got the mask on, so it's a little hard, but
that's actually maybe not I'll keep that one to myself. Yeah. But when they do, I mean, the smell alone must get you going though.
Well, it depends how the game's going, you're feeling good. You start, get your eyes moving a little bit, but definitely sometimes it's just you're focused and so hard again. I know some guys are doing their some guys, look at that. They
oh yeah, what guys do?
No shit, you don't
Come
say.
on here, Jason.
Does one of them wear 91?
Yeah. He's got the number on his tape job on his stick.
Funny thing with Segi, I don't think he saw I must have saw it yesterday, but I haven't told anyone, but there was a sign up in Colorado. I think it was Colorado ever. And if some lady has a sign saying, I know I'm not a blonde, but can I get a puck? Like, I thought that was pretty funny.
I thought you were going to say a different word than UCK.
No.
Hey, so going back to the fans, that you guys have this glass banger guy that is behind the opposing goalie.
Yeah.
Have you noticed him? I think he wears an all white suit. He's a lunatic.
He's a nightmare.
No, I actually didn't notice until this year, the sign, because now I can't not look at it now. So that's actually pretty neat. I'm really glad that they have. They actually always have this guy that during the anthem and end of the anthem, which actually the anthem thing I think is the coolest thing. I love that. I love when they say that. It's just when they yell stars twice. It's just they say it once and then the second time they do it even louder because everyone's into it. I think that's one of the coolest things in hockey, traditions or whatever. But there's always this one guy at the end of the anthem, screaming, "Let's go, Jamie Benn!" Every time, "Let's go, Jamie Benn!" And sometimes, you don't even. It's part of like when I hear it, I'm like, where's this? When is he gonna say it? Like it's so funny. They're outstanding fan. They're the best fans.
He seems like a pretty quiet guy, Jamie Benn. Is he that way in the locker room?
I mean, I think when it comes out to the public or whatever. I think he's more of a private guy, but he's he cares about everyone, right? He wants all of us to get along. He's the best captain, right? He gels all of us together. He wanted us to come out last night and just hang out and just be around the boys and everything. So and he's a big voice in the locker room. He's one of the funniest guys. He's just one of the best leaders too.
You mentioned Pavelski. You used the word mentor a couple of times. Do you feel like he might be molding you for a sort of future leadership role with this team, or just your career going forward?
I mean, I think with the habits are one off the ice. I'm a little bit still just a younger guy. I don't really learn. I learn from it, but I won't sit. He's getting the boys riled up. I'm not going to get the boys riled up, right? I'm still 22, right? I'm not going to do that.
Well, let's wait till you sign this deal and you might change your mind there.
Well, if they want me to, then I will. So,
one thing I want to know is, you're so hockey focused. What's the one thing that gives you your escape? Are you a movie guy, Netflix? Do you go to amusement parks? Like, what's your one thing in order to get away?
I'm a big gamer.
Okay.
What are you playing?
I'm more sport. I love playing FIFA. FIFA's my game, and Madden. I play a lot of Madden too. I just play. If I could play Chell with my brother, I'd play Chell with my brother. But that's just pretty much exclusively FIFA. That's pretty much all I do. I go home and go to the rink, do my work, come home, play FIFA, and then that's it.
Oh, you're a big soccer fan in real life?
I don't have time to watch soccer, right? They're all playing at stupid time. Honestly, though, when it's like the World Cup though, or the Euros, like that's when I get like into it, right? Those are like, I get sick. You get behind a team or whatever. You see all this stuff. The World Cup's coming up this year. I know Canada is actually going to make the World Cup, which is
say it, buddy. You want to get your jabs in because we bet you over in the women's Olympics?
Exciting.
You want a piece of me, buddy? You want to go Canada versus US right now? No, but on the brother front, I heard that he FaceTimes your mom twice a day. So is he kind of the mama's boy of the family?
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll take that honor. I mean, I call my mom every day. Like, she's with my dad. I call my parents every day, but I think he's the one that does that. I think he has his thing. So, but he also, I mean, he lived in because I moved to Toronto for 1 year, and I moved with my mom. So it was just me, my mom, and my older brother Michael. And then my little brother came behind me, and he was there for 2 years. His band of major minor. So he lived with my mom for 2 years by himself. My brother left, so I'm sure they got really close there. So I'm sure he can take that from me. I'll give it to him.
I saw he's only played 5 games this year. Is he battling injury or what's going on?
So actually, unfortunately, the second game of the year, he broke his leg.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah, he broke his fibula in October, and he just recently came back about a week or two ago. He scored a couple goals the other night.
Nice.
So he's kind of getting back. He's kind of feeling it, but it was tough for him. He had injury problems last year, but he always come back strong, and he's ready to roll, ready to go. So it's exciting to see him. I actually watch him now. It's exciting to see him to get back out there, but that was a tough injury, but he's a strong kid.
Jason, you seem like a new school guy, obviously dialed into the hockey. You play the video games on your time off. You had an IG post about Def Leppard and Journey. Are you into all the old school classic tunes, or was that just kind of random?
No, I mean, actually, when I was growing up, when I lived in Detroit, we listened to all that stuff, like the 80s, 70s rock, and the Toto,
oh, wow.
Toto, the Def Leppard, I don't know, the Fleetwood Mac, everything. It was a big thing for me listening to, because I wasn't too much into the music then, but and then actually the lead singer of Journey is from the Philippines.
I was going to ask you about that.
Oh yeah.
You know the whole backstory?
Do that, and I know Steve Perry left and everything, and but no, it's I like all the music pretty much.
You got a go-to song to fire you up, or maybe a couple of them?
I mean, every year just varies, right? You find one tune and we'll just switch it up. There's pretty much not one not one thing. It just keeps me going. I'm ready.
All right, it's only one golf shirt, dude. It's not one song. It's just he's got one shirt that
he's got one suit. I thought maybe he'd have one song.
Hey, well, Jason, I mean, this has been awesome. It's awesome watching you play. We appreciate you joining the show. I mean, it's going to be a crazy long career for you ahead, and I think you're going to make a lot of dough. So I'm happy for you, and good luck the rest of the way this year.
No, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's nice to talk to you guys.
Tell Sagan I'm coming after him in the cologne industry. Me and my boy Leon, we're coming out with one. So he's going to have some competition. I'm going to have some fucking pictures on the internet with my abs. We're going to spray paint a fucking 8-pack right here, buddy, and tell him I'm coming for him.
We'll see if I get one too. You don't know.
Oh, you're going to come out with one? Which scent?
I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Your scent will be Bong Rips by Stevie Y.
Jason, one last one. Any significance to the number 21 that you wear? I wanted to ask.
They gave it to me.
That's it. All right. Simple enough.
Number.
Perfect. Perfect story.
I'll race it now. It's actually unfortunate because I see all the jerseys ahead of me wearing number 21, but it's another number. So, but whatever.
Well, you're gonna make your own mark with it, brother. You already done so far. So continue doing what you're doing. We enjoyed having you, and continued success this season.
Yeah, no, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Thank you very much to Jason Robertson, a young stud, well-spoken. You can tell very humble kid who's just constantly working on improving his craft and becoming a legit game breaker in the NHL. So we appreciate him coming on. And I need to tell all you guys, that interview was brought to you by Game Time. This is a new partner with Barstool Sports, and they are crushing it. Game Time is a brand new app created by fans for fans that's changing the way we buy tickets, and has become one of the fastest growing companies in America. That is true. They are buzzing. Here's the story. Years ago, Game Time's founder, Brad, is at a bar with his brother before Game 7 of the NLCS, and he sees ticket prices dropping rapidly. So he buys them on his phone, but then he realizes he has to print them. He ends up bribing the bar owner to let him into his office, and after 20 minutes of login bullshit and ink issues, he gets to the tickets, but he misses the first inning. That's a disaster when you're spending big money. He thought, wow, I got a great last-minute deal, but this was a giant pain in the ass, and the Game Time app was born that day. Today, over 15 million people have downloaded this app. 15 million. It's created by fans for fans. The Game Time app makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, shows, everything you can imagine. If you've ever dreamed of sitting in a seat that you never thought you could, being courtside, behind home plate, 4 seats at the concert, it is possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. And the best part, you get $20 off on your first purchase. Download the Game Time app, go to the account tab to create a login, and redeem code Chiclets, CHICLETS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And Biz, Aunt Marcia, she used Game Time, didn't she?
No, I used it because they don't give me the seats on the glass there for the Coyotes because I'm just the big old boy radio guy. I get the upper bowl seats, but downloaded the app, got Marcia her seats right on the glass just to get that sweat finger from Nathan MacKinnon. Now, you should have had this app for the time that you got ripped off at MSG, where you got
I did, yeah. So when I got ripped off for John Mayer, I immediately downloaded the Game Time app, and that's how I got my girlfriend the Billie Eilish tickets.
So you won't end up ever dealing with tickets on a pizza box from a homeless man. Game Time has you get the best seats at the best prices. Please go download the app now and get to experience the game-changing app that will allow you to go to never-ending games that you never imagined you could go to.
Yeah, the Sbarro the pizza box tickets.
Best pizza in New York City.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What do we got, RA?
Well, we've been saying for a long time now that the East has been decided. We know who the 8 teams are going to be. And, well, we're still not sure what's going to happen. But the Columbus Blue Jackets, man, we got to dap them up here. They've made a valiant effort. I know that I think they're 10 points behind Washington with a game in hand right now. But they had gone on a run where they got points in 12 out of 16 games. They leapfrogged Detroit. Looked like they were, I think, 7 points behind at a certain point. But this team, I've been watching them, Paul. Unbelievably exciting team to watch. Elvis Merzlikins, we talked about him before. I mean, his GAA is high because they play a run and gun style. He's an excellent goalie. There's just a lot of goals because of the style they play. But this team has been unreal. Patrick Laine, absolute tier, but they've been doing it by committee. Boone Jenner, Jake Voracek, Patrick Laine just said, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Zach Werenski, Nyquist. These guys are just, there's 8-10 guys getting it done every night. And I would love to see this team get in. I know the Capitals are the team they're chasing right now, but, there's a team that's working hard. It doesn't always maybe get the recognition they deserve. So I thought we should give a big shout out to the Columbus Blue Jackets this week, Paul.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we mentioned it earlier in the pod. Sometimes with like new players, and personnel, it's difficult. Well, they got a new coach and they're coming off of Torts, and he's a lot more defensive minded. So you mentioned how they're a little bit more fun to watch this year, a little bit more offense and, that run and gun style. Buchagras sent out a tweet. They have the most come from behind victories this season with 18.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
18.
With, taking that slow start into account. I mean, and like I said, they got 26 games left. I would imagine they probably have to win about 18 of them if they want to have a fighting chance at making that wild card spot. But hey, if you're a Columbus Blue Jackets fan, you are very excited for the future. You finally got Laine going, which, I was a little worried about. He went from Winnipeg, a place where I think that I don't know if he wanted to be there anymore. I don't know what the falling out was or how he was feeling towards that. Then he goes to another small market, not sure how it was going to pan out. But you could really see it, the fact that he's been able to be himself there, come out of his shell. You see him showing up to every game in these fun suits and stuff. And as far as the fans' support's concerned, probably had a lot to do with the fact that it was the Rick Nash jersey retirement night, but they've been drawn really well. That game was 107% sold out, standing room only for Rick Nash night. But the fact that they're still coming in droves and supporting that team and really helping with this push, I love when small markets are able to have success in the National Hockey League. So shout out to that fan base and that whole team. Brad Larsen's got the boys playing hard. And I mean, they got some good young talent there too. So they're going to be good for years to come.
What do you guys think Patrick Laine gets this offseason?
So I think that
he's restricted still.
He's restricted, but the way they do it with the qualifying offer, I think he's got to go a bump up from $7.5 million, I want to say. So I think that he's the type of guy, especially with this. I think he's got 15 goals in his last 20 games or something ridiculous like that. I think he's going to be the type of guy. I know I would be a little bit weary of giving him like an 8x8, but I think that he's going to at least get an 8x8, if not 8x9. As far as pure goal scorers in the league, he's up there with the best of them. Just a lethal shot. So I would say it's probably going to cost him $9 million for 8 years.
Also, I know Blue Jackets fans who listen to the show, we haven't discussed them a ton this year because of, it looked like they were going to struggle. They've been great. So one guy I'll say we're going to work on trying to get, at least I'd love to talk to, is Jarmo Kekalainen, because as a GM who's European, who's been there to have to deal with guys just keep wanting to leave. They had the Duchesne, they had Panarin, they had all these guys that didn't want to be there anymore. I'd love to ask him some questions on how he approaches that and how he continues to build a good competitive team. And I think that the best young player they have is that Cole Sillinger. He is a treat to watch play. I know that at times this year he's had a little bit of a slow spurt here and there, but he is going to be a special young player. So that's a fun team to watch, even though you didn't expect much going into the year.
And they had a stretch where 10 of their 11 games went over. That was just like 8, 9, 10 goals every game. Was I don't know if Elio was on them at all, but it was a bounty of goals. Also, another little story that ties to the Blue Jackets. 3 of the wins on the winning streak there. JF Berube, this guy was drafted by the Kings in the 4th round of the 2009 draft. He had a few cups of coffee around the league. He hadn't played in the NHL since the 17-18 season. He played for 5 AHL teams in the meantime. He got called up. He played 4 games for them. I think he's still in the roster. He hasn't played lately. He went 3-1 with a .924 save percentage. Won 3 out of 4 games. Just I like I said before, I love these stories. Guy hadn't been in the league in years. All the goalie situations, guys getting sick and traded and all that. He gets called up and has a nice little run. I hope we see him again, man, because I don't know why we haven't, because he played his ass off those few
Great
games.
Guy. Won a Calder Cup with him in Manchester. Ugliest toenails you've ever seen in your life. Like so bad he looked like Harry Dunn and Dumb and Dumber when they got the power thing out. That's how we used to have to cut him in the locker room. Shout out Berube.
Yeah,
what if he shot you in the head though?
And he's a horrible shot.
We got some more congratulations, Biz. Vegas coach Pete DeBoer won his 500th game Tuesday versus one of his old teams, the San Jose Sharks. He's the 28th coach to do so, which you got to consider that pretty select company. I mean, there's probably been, 9,000 coaches in the NHL, considering how many guys have been fired. Only the 28th to hit 500 games. He's in his 15th season. He's been around for a while. And I thought Biz, he made a little appearance on behind the scenes with the Chiclets Cup. And he was like, this guy's a funny bastard, man. I think we only see him at press conferences, and he's in coaching mode, but he had a ton of personality there, and I think maybe people saw a different side of him in that video.
I think he was still drunk. He talked about how hungover he was at the press conference the next day. So the coaches get to have a little bit of fun at the All-Star game because of all the pressure they face over the course of the season and how they got to manage these teams. But yeah, he's been blessed with some great squads. He went to the Stanley Cup final with the New Jersey Devils. He went over to San Jose, and I played against him in junior when he was coaching with the Kitchener Rangers, where he had success there. I want to say they went on to win at least one Memorial Cup where he coached Mike Richards and crew. But man, just he's been plowing away, and a very likable guy and a player's coach, and the guys love him. So I would imagine that he's the type of guy who ends up getting to 700-800 wins. I don't see this guy going anywhere, and he's still pretty young. He probably hasn't hit 55 yet.
And he'll be a sentimental favorite next time he does get to a Stanley Cup final, because he's been there twice, hasn't won. And, like you say, he's a likable guy. People will be pulling for him. So once again, congrats to Pete. We had a little bet. The Hughes boys played each other last week. Jack against Quinn for the first time since 2019. The Devils beat Vancouver for the 13th straight time, going back to the 14-15 season. And Quinn said, we get some little side bets going on. We wanted to get a little painting for the house, and the loser's going to pay for it. So looks like he's going to have to pay for a paint. What kind of paint do you think they're going to get?
I bet you these guys are so hard in the NFTs. It's not even funny. I guarantee it's like a board.
Chimpanzee with a pair of avatar glasses on, as you would say.
Yeah, dumbest shit you ever seen in your life. You know what they should
make, Biz? I would just, if I was Quinn and he's got to buy it now, I would get a 9-foot monster painting of myself. Like, hey, you want a painting? You want me to pay for it? I'm gonna have my Vancouver Canucks mugshot in the middle of the house over the fireplace.
Bossy move would be getting that one. I don't know if you guys read that story recently in Russia. The security guard just bored on his night shift at the museum. There was a painting called Three Figures, and I think it was from the 1930s. It was valued over $1 million at 1.4 million. So this security guard just strolls over and draws eyes on the heads of this painting that was in the museum.
Didn't like teenage girls talk him into it? Is that the same one? Like,
is it on video?
No, but it was a big story that came out about this security guard defacing a classic, almost 100-year-old painting. So
that's Russia.
Russia. Well, actually, it had the money in rubles. I just guessed that it was 1.4 million. But
so that actually means it's $7. The ruble's worth less than a penny, I think.
I know. Yeah, it's really took a nosedive. But Granelli, what do you think they're into as far as art? NFTs for sure. You talk to these guys?
I bet they're into some NFTs. I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's a growing community. Why wouldn't you get into the NFT community? But I mean, I don't think you can put a big picture of Quinn Hughes in this apartment, because then it just looks like me. And you can't have a big picture of me. And let me tell you guys a funny story about looking like me real quick. So when we were at the outdoor game in Nashville, I saw Sorelli after the game, and people have told me I look like Sorelli before. I like Whit said, I had a million shots that day. And I went up to him, and we were talking, and I kind of just was like, hey, so everyone says we look just alike. And there was no less than a 15-second dead silence of just are you fucking kidding me? You just ruined my night.
Yeah. Take it back right now, kid, or I'll punch your head in Tootsies.
I immediately apologized after. I was like, wait, no, fuck. You don't want to look like me, but.
Well, if you guys were expecting him on the podcast, you won't be hearing from him anytime soon. Lana Rhodes. I guess she ripped a bunch of people off on her NFT thing. She made about 1.5 million off hers, the porn star. Do you know who that is?
I know the name. I'm not familiar with her work.
Oh, yeah, right. All right. No, check your fucking spank bank.
If she wasn't on VHS, man, I don't know her.
Oh, okay.
I got one NFT, and it gives me free Justin Bieber tickets for life. So I'm
Get out of here, really?
Yes, it does.
So
it does, baby.
That's the new component to
Boston.
You have to offer real world things to sell these things now, where you get a special treatment or discounts on this or meetups with the people who created them. But
wow,
yours,
really?
So you're saying at MSG with this NFT, when he strolls into town, you just go up with your Saboros tickets and you can just get into any
Game
Justin
time.
Bieber.
Yeah, because he's a part owner in the NFT, so he helped launch it. But that's where it's all going. It's all going towards a community base. I don't know fuck all about NFTs, but this is what I'm learning is it's not just an ape with avatar glasses on. It's a community base. For example, the Nelk Boys, they dropped their meta card. They're also launching full send gyms all over the country. If you have their meta card, you get a free membership to their gym.
What
You
does
get
that
free
cost,
meetups.
the meta card, G?
It depends. It fluctuates with where the market is
What'd
going.
you pay for yours?
You pay $6,000, you get a gym membership. If you get the $10,000 one, they're going to inject you with the HGH too. They put it right in your arse.
No, and if you get the $20,000 one, a Nelk boy will fart right in your face. So it's really a win-win.
Pay fucking $12,000 for a picture of a baboon with fucking horn rim glasses on. Sweet.
But no, that's what I'm saying, RA. It's not just a picture though. You're paying for the community. You get all these things. You get all these benefits.
Ari just said what you did.
Hey, if you get the
Ari,
Chiclets,
listen to what you said, you just didn't take it into consideration.
You get the Chiclets RA NFT, he'll come over and take a smash in your toilet and leave.
Yeah, well,
the warthog.
Yeah,
we should do a warthog NFT. What would be okay? So what would be?
Wow.
Yeah, what would be each guy's defining moment for their NFT if we did launch one?
I think Grinelli's would be walking off the lacrosse field because he wouldn't clap with the team.
No, mine would be looking off Patrick Sharp and falling on my face on video.
I like the lacrosse one. I like the lacrosse.
Biz's would be wow, there's so many different things. Ari's is 100% the ward.
Mine would be
100% the ward hard.
Yeah, I would be. Mine might be the dance on TNT.
Oh,
that would be a great NFT.
Oh yeah, that was actually sick.
And if you get it, I'll show up to your wedding. Kid. I'll show up to your wedding and do it in front of your step parents.
Still charge you a little fee though. Be like, this is the tax on the NFT. It's paying me to come to your wedding.
Yeah, I guess in my single days I would have got the smasher.
Mine would be just putting Portnoy in a headlock and just running his show. That'd be all right.
We can move on from the NFTs.
One last quick note on the Devils. I thought it was a pretty cool gesture when they went to the game Sunday. You know, guys usually wear suits. There, all the Devils, they wore high school jerseys from all the local high schools that were playing in the state tournament that week. All the Devils. I don't know if you saw the clip online, and it was pretty nice gesture, man. You know, we used to see them all gussied up, and I thought it was a nice little tribute to the young hockey players of the state. So, good job to the New Jersey Devils for pulling that off. Boom, boom, boom. The Heritage Classic game is going to be in Hamilton, Ontario this week. The Leafs and the Sabres are playing Saturday at Tim Hortons Field. The place only holds 26,000 people. Is that right, Biz? It's a football soccer field.
Yeah, close to 30.
Okay. And also the Capitals, they're going to be the opponent for Carolina at next year's Stadium Series. It's going to be in Raleigh at NC State's football stadium. It's going to be the first outdoor game for the Canes and the fourth for the Caps. I'm sure we'll be there, rocking and rolling, no doubt. Also, we want to send our best wishes to the OG Flower, Guy Lafleur, the Montreal Canadiens legend, Hockey Hall of Famer. His family issued a statement through the team last week they want to thank the fans for their outpouring of love and support they've shown to Guy as he's battled cancer for the last couple of years, and he was in the hospital for a bit. They sent him home. So I watched Guy when I was a young kid and one of the best players ever, and just want to tell him we're thinking of him and pulling for him here at Spittin Chiclets. Guy, we love you, brother. So keep pulling through, brother. Jaromir Jagr, we mentioned him earlier. His team in Kladno, they usually play in like a 5,000 or 6,000 seat arena. He's moving the season finale biz to the Stadium O2 in Prague so that they can sell more tickets, and they're going to donate the money to the Ukrainian. I don't know if it's a relief fund or for refugees that are going to Czech Republic. It's not the Czechoslovakia anymore. So, I mean, this guy, he's played for 40 years. He doesn't have to do this type of stuff, and it just shows you what type of guy he is to take on this venture to move this game here and raise money for these people who are getting fucked by this fucking asshole in Russia.
1.7 million people have left Ukraine now and become refugees to other countries. Another thing I saw that was great, what Jagr's doing is awesome. I think there was a picture online of hundreds of Polish women, because so many Ukrainians are coming into Poland, left like strollers and stuff for possible parents with young kids coming from the Ukraine. So that was another good sight you see in the middle of this madness from the scumbag that RA just mentioned.
Yeah, a powerful message. I don't know, RA, if you mentioned that he posted the video to his social media channels. So go check it out on Twitter if you haven't. And obviously, this is you said it, where this isn't something he has to do, but he's a big person stepping up in a big moment and to raise money for, I mean, I don't even want to say an incredible cause. This is fucking nuts. It's the fact that this is still happening and still going on. It's been 10 days and it's hell for those people over there, and the fact that they have to leave their home country.
Yeah. 2022. And it shouldn't have to be done, but it's nice that he's doing it. And I know he's going to drop a video on Tuesday as well, Biz, where people that can't get to the game can buy tickets in a donation type of way. And we'll be sure to tweet it out on the Chiclets account too. So people are going to help out in that way as well. And Eugene Melnick, the owner of the Ottawa Senators, he's of Ukrainian heritage. He's been having his build and play the Ukrainian national anthem before each game. He's also raising funds through their 50-50 account. So again, it's unfortunate that people have to help out in this way because one fucking psychopath asshole, but it is nice that people are doing this. So moving right along here, the NHL, they redid their Stanley Cup logo, which is not a big story, but Pierre LeBrun, obviously a big reporter up in Canada, he said the next time the NHL rebrands the Stanley Cup playoffs, what about the schedule? He said, let me reiterate a long-time wish. The playoffs in a normal year should run from April 1st to May 31st. No hockey in June. Start the regular season in late September. It won't happen, but I wish it would. I know Grinelli agree with it. I know Biz agree with it. And Whit, I know you want to chime in as well.
Yeah, I think it would be fantastic, and he does mention it'll never happen, but it's just as great as the Stanley Cup Finals are, no matter when they happen. It's just such a crazy year that it's like July basically right after, and all of a sudden it's free agency and the draft and free agency. So to somehow start the season earlier, and I would guess the only reason they'll never do it is because then you're competing with football for that much longer. But I do love the fact of actually having the summer off from hockey and not playing late into June. It doesn't make much sense to me, but I guess the way LeBron words it is it will never go down.
Well, that and like ice conditions too. Sometimes you're playing in these southern markets. The ice is a fucking joke, though. It's like playing with a lacrosse ball out there. I completely agree. You said the interfering with and competing with football. It's a juggernaut regardless. With streaming services and the way that with viewership, it's easy. You can go on ESPN Plus or whatever streaming services. You can watch any game. I don't
not to have games on Sundays too.
Yeah, fucking there you go. Bingo. That's it. They take over 1 day a week. Just make it so they don't play on Sundays. Start the season at the beginning of September. Everybody's back to work at that time anyway. I think they're just overthinking it. If you could have, let me ask you this, RA, would you rather start the season in September or have them not triple down on the Coyotes in the desert?
Hey man, I told you, Glendale, the desert's fine. It's fucking Glendale. All
right, fair enough.
And they're over pot committed, man. Their pride is on the line, and they won't give it up.
As far as the rebranding is concerned, I mean, I think it looks good. I don't think it's like. I don't think it should be I don't think it should be news. It's just like so vanilla.
Yeah, it was a space filler.
yeah, smoke and mirrors to distract us from the fact that they won't change the schedule.
Yeah, exactly, and they fooled us. Okay, we're going to get to Dustin Johnson in 1 second. One last note here. Top 2022 NHL draft prospect, Ivan Miroshnichenko. He was recently diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. He's going to be taking some time off from hockey. He's was going to be a top pick in the 2022 draft. Fortunately, it's a very common form of the disease, and it is very curable. He's getting treatment in Germany, and the boys here at Spittin Chiclets want to wish him the best, of course, get him healthy, get him in the NHL in a couple of years. So get well, Ivan. We want to see you here in a few years, brother. And we're going to get to Dustin shortly, but Grinelli, it was awesome to chat with him, one of the best golfers in the world, and actually having something in common with him. We both love to slug Body Armor Light. It's the low-calorie sports drink that has no sugar, no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes, but it does have electrolytes, vitamins, antioxidants, and coconut water, and it tastes great. It's also the official sports drink of Dustin Johnson and hydrates top golfers around the world like DJ. I'm about to grab yet another strawberry lemonade because it's super tasty and that's my flavor. And you can grab Body Armor Light on Amazon or wherever fine beverages are sold. Now enjoy Dustin Johnson.
We are pleased now to be joined by a real legend in the game of golf. This is like doing the Sidney Crosby interview, so bear with me, folks. I got a couple things to say here. We got the 2016 U.S. Open champion, the 2020 Masters champion, holder of the #1 golfer in the world spot for over 130 weeks in his career, two-time PGA Tour Player of the Year, and 24 wins on the PGA Tour, along with 9 on the European Tour. And if you're looking for one thing us 4 peasants have in common with this legend, he's a body armor athlete just like ourselves. We want to welcome Dustin Johnson. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I apologize for the delay. I had a little Wi-Fi snafu. I'm a little bit of a disgrace right now. But first, getting into this, how's the season going? How are you feeling? What's been going on?
I haven't played too much yet. I played one event in the fall, and then I played San Diego and LA. So I've only played technically 3 events this year. It's gone a little slow. I took a lot of time off, but I feel like the game's starting to come back into good form. Kind of just struggled with the putting a little bit the first couple events. And, but I've been working on it a little bit and, ready to get back. I got a really big schedule coming up, playing the Players, playing Tampa, which is the Valspar, the match play week off, and then play Augusta and then the RBC Hilton Head. So, big schedule coming up here, and so ready to get back to grinding and getting the game back in good form.
I actually had a question. You mentioned like the putter might be struggling right now. I've always seen you go back and forth between you got a Scotty and then a TaylorMade putter. Is there one that you like more than the other, or is it just whatever's working? But it's usually only one of the two, right?
Well, my first 9 years on tour, I played with a Cameron, and then I haven't used one since. I used one similar, but I've been putting with the Spider though the last 6 years, pretty much for most of the time. But I've just been struggling a little bit. Obviously taking a lot of time off. Kind of the short game is what really, kind of takes the biggest hit. Is just not having the feel. And so just been working on it a little bit more. Put a new putter in. I think I'm going to try it with it's the Bandon. It's just a TaylorMade putter, but played with it yesterday out at the Seminole Pro member and rolled it pretty nicely. So I was really pleased with it, and hopefully we'll get the game back in order though here coming up for these next big events.
Dustin, as somebody who doesn't know much about golf, why did they do away with the belly putter, and were the guys using it cheaters?
I never used one. I couldn't do it. There was a few guys though that were really good at it, and I think it was more of just anchoring thing. But I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But were they cheating? I don't know. That's not up to me to decide.
What do you make of guys who have extremely slow paces of play? Like I just watched a video the other day, and the guy took about 90 seconds. He did about 30 head checks. Like, as a guy who sucks at golf, I would have probably thrown a club at him.
Yeah, I mean, slow play is a problem on the tour. I feel like it takes us entirely too long to play around the golf. We play practice rounds, foursomes, all hitting extra shots, extra putts, chips around the green, and, still playing 4 hours. But then we got 3 pros playing, 18 holes with no extra practice shots, and it takes us 5.5 hours. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Hey, clip it, G. You heard it here, folks. Dustin Johnson, shot clock implemented now from going on forward here in the PGA. What would you put it at? 30 seconds a shot clock if they implemented one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you could put a shot clock on there, but it would be kind of fun to play a tournament with it. But yeah, I think you do 40 maybe.
40? Okay.
Yeah,
40, that's actually generous.
40 would be fine.
Actually, in that same vein, DJ, there's always this perceived stuffiness about golf. Maybe it's real. I don't play too often, but is there any kind of change you would make to the game to take out some of that perceived stuffiness, maybe like a shot clock or something like that?
No, I mean, they've tried a bunch of different things, and it doesn't seem like nothing seems to really work or speed up the play. I mean, it's more up to the players. You just got to, do things a little bit quicker. You can walk a little faster. I mean, when it's your turn, be ready to hit. Or, instead of, mean, obviously on Sundays it wouldn't really work that well, but just play almost ready golf. If you're ready to play, play. It doesn't, obviously with cameras and stuff makes it a little more difficult, but it's just, I think a lot of guys are just not ready to play when it's their turn, and that's what takes so long.
Should there be more holes like the 16 at the Waste Management, with that crowd element brought to it?
Well, yeah, but that would slow down play even more, I think. But yeah, it is a great hole for golf. It's a lot of fun for the guys to, the guys who play there. Everyone seems to enjoy that hole. I played there a couple of times earlier in my career. But yeah, I mean, what they do at Phoenix, I think is incredible. They get a lot of fans there, and it's really exciting.
I'm one of those guys who probably thinks he's good at golf and takes it way too serious, but actually sucks. So would you not say that if you take less time and think less, it probably does you better playing golf? Like, I can't imagine when you're grooving, you have that many thoughts going through your mind.
No, you don't. I mean, when you're playing your best rounds, yeah, you're definitely not really thinking about much at all except where you want the ball to go.
Oh, that's good. That's what I'll do next round out. Thanks for that.
As far as dream foursomes, now, of course, you and Wayne and MJ have played together. Is there anyone else in these pro-ams that you'd like to connect with at some point, maybe an actor or a comedian that you haven't been able to golf with?
I mean, I've pretty much played with, all of my, kind of idols and stuff. So, I would probably go with some guys like, Arnold Palmer, maybe Hogan, Byron Nelson, guys that, obviously didn't get a chance to either meet or, definitely didn't get a chance to play with. So, those guys, those type of people in the game.
You mentioned you played yesterday in that Seminole Pro member. And for people who aren't aware, some of the best players in the world are there. Rory, yourself. Like, how does it all come together with who you're playing with? And when did that even become a thing? Has that been around forever?
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. I don't know how many years they've been doing it, but I played with Jimmy Dunn. He was my partner. So, it's kind of, members who have relationships with tour players, they kind of, they'll ask you to play with them or if they need pros, they'll ask pros to play and they'll just pair them with a member. But like Rory played with his dad, and so, if you know members, then you'll play with your friends if they ask you to play. But yeah, they get a great field. It's a great day. It's just golf. All the members enjoy it. All the pros enjoy it. Obviously, it's a great venue to play, and they just do a great job. Obviously, we had a great day of weather too, so it was a fantastic day yesterday.
During the Ryder Cups, DJ, is there a lot of shit talking between the teams, or do they keep it kind of polite?
Yeah, I mean, you keep it pretty chill, especially with the other team. There's a lot of jawing going on, between like the American guys, like with each other. But no, you keep it pretty civil on the golf course.
Oh man, did you guys ever get pickled afterward? I think you were a little tipsy at that press conference, weren't you?
I might have had one or two before we walked in there.
Hey, Biz, have you seen it
was a week worth celebrating though. So I earned it.
You had a great response too when asked if you could hang with the younger guys. You said, I think it was absolutely. So I don't know. Is there any guys you can call out that maybe couldn't hang on that team?
One of the youngins had a rough go at it. He was in bed before we got back to the hotel.
I think one of the cooler traditions in golf is at the Masters, when you win it the next year, you get to pick the dinner menu for all past champions. And of course, all the members of Augusta. What did you end up picking for the meal? And did you get any heat from the guys for what you ended up deciding on?
No, I think, I didn't hear anything. So they didn't tell me that they enjoyed the dinner. They enjoyed the wine. So you pick the food, you pick the wine. And so, yeah, I think it was a great dinner. We had a steak, we had a fish selection, had some really good sides, but yeah, I mean, it's a great tradition. It's something obviously I really enjoyed, and being a past champion and getting to host that dinner is it's an incredible honor, and it's something that I look forward to continuing to go to for as long as I can.
EJ, with the prevalence of legal gambling in the States, you would just talk about guys breaking each other's balls. Do guys break each other's balls about like their odds? Like, poke fun at someone might be 100-1 or something. Is that something you even talk about in the clubhouse where it's legal, like you can legally talk about it?
No, that's probably more of a question. I'm sure the caddies do more of that than the players. Because they probably know.
I had a caddy on tour this year. He was texting me, this guy's shanking it on the range, bet against him. The dude shot 8 under. I lost so much money. I'm like, thanks for the insight. I don't know what they're talking about.
If a guy's hitting it bad on the range, you should usually go with him because, I mean, some of the best rounds I've ever played had the absolute worst warm-up you could ever have.
Really?
Hey, speaking of caddies and odds in money, I think Wayne was telling me that your brother, who's your caddy, would have been 28th on the money list last year if he was considered a golfer. So I was like, fuck, Dustin must have had a pretty good goddamn year.
Yeah, I had a decent year. I don't know who figured that out, but I think someone figured out that he would have placed pretty well.
I read online.
So I interrupt here. We just have one more question for DJ, and then we got to get him on the road. He's got some commitments.
No problem.
No problem. Actually, well, you talked about your brother. He got on your bag in 2013. I was reading. Like, what ended up being the deciding factor for you to say, all right, let's do this? And how cool is it to have the success you've had with your bro?
Well, yeah, it's been great having my brother on the bag. It was actually Paulino was the one that suggested I bring him because the caddy that I had at the time had something he had to do, and I was going to Australia to play. So Paulino was like, hey, why don't you bring AJ? And I'm like, okay, yeah. So I brought him to Australia. We played pretty good, finished 15th or something there. And then we were going to Thailand for vacation in between because I was playing the HSBC, WGC in Shanghai in China. The following week. So we went to vacation, and then I was going to have to fly AJ home, fly my other caddy back out there. And I was like, you know what, AJ, why don't you just stay and caddy for me at WGC? And we ended up winning. And so after that was kind of all she wrote. After we won there, I was like, you want to keep doing this? And he was like, absolutely. And so he's been on the bag ever since.
Well, we really appreciate you joining, man. I'm sorry I was late with the internet issue, but we appreciate it, and good luck the rest of the season. Shout out Body Armor.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. It's a great drink. Use it all the time. But, yeah, anytime, let me know. We can do it again.
Thank you very much to Dustin Johnson, world-class golfer, will be a World Golf Hall of Famer, 2-time major champion. We appreciate it. I need to mention quickly, ZipRecruiter, according to the latest research, 90% of employers plan to make enhancing the employee experience a top priority in 2022. After all, a happy workplace is key to attracting and keeping great employees. If you need to add more employees to your team, there's ZipRecruiter. Their matching technology helps you find the right people for your roles fast. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/SC. ZipRecruiter uses its powerful technology to find and match the right candidates up with your job. Then it proactively presents these candidates to you. You can easily review the recommended candidates and invite your top choices to apply for your job, which encourages them to apply faster. ZipRecruiter's technology is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Find the right employees for your workplace with ZipRecruiter. Try it for free at this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/SC. That's ziprecruiter.com/SC. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Now, let's explain. First off, shout out to Body Armor, an amazing drink, partners with us, partners with Barstool, and obviously Dustin Johnson. So we were told we probably had about 35 to 45 minutes with DJ. Now I have the worst rental house in Florida. The internet's all fucked up. So I tried going over to Keith Yandel's house. His wife was nice enough, Kristen was nice enough to let me come over, use the internet. I get over there, boom, my computer dies, that piece of junk. I since then have gotten a new one. So because of me, DJ's on and he's waiting for me for about 7 minutes. So I naturally hop on. I'm pretty embarrassed. I'm like, oh, sorry about that. Boom. All of a sudden, we got about 12 minutes, whatever that interview was, and he had to go. Apparently, he had to pick up his kid. I don't really know what it was, but I think we're going to get more time. I think we're going to be able to get a sit down at some point. He seemed open and enjoyed chatting with us, but it was my fault. It was shorter. It was 12 minutes, but still, I think it only would have been about 19 or 20 had I not fucked up and had bad internet and then a bad computer. So maybe Biz can go to his father-in-law and get us a true interview and a true sit down where we can really get in depth on some things. We had a bunch of questions written down, but didn't have time. So apologize for that, folks.
Yeah,
Biz,
shit.
what do you got? What do you got, Biz?
Yeah,
we going to get him?
I mean, I don't know. I'm still in shock at the fact that his buddy there pigeon tossed us off the.
Yeah.
Off the...
All of a sudden, this guy. Can you hear him on the interview? I don't know if Granelli left in. He's like, "All right, time to go." It's like, did we start this thing yet?
I think the belly putter comment pissed him off. I think he wasn't happy about the belly putter comment.
I think he was pissed that I brought up what I think before shots, and he's like, "Dude, don't talk to me about golf, bro. See, I'm out of here."
Well, we're talking about golf. We didn't get to Phil Mickelson last week because, per usual, we went long, but he got zonked in a big way. What's his play impact program? He thought he won it back in December, tweeted about it, and then Tiger dunked on him on Twitter.
So Phil, being as down bad as a human being can be right now, just a complete fool. He tweeted out, "Congrats to myself." Basically, I won the PIP, which is this new program that the tour kind of put in when all this Saudi Arabian league really began catching steam to kind of create more money for the top players that are, bringing the most attention and eyeballs to the sport. So I think it's based on like social media and impact. And the thing is, the tour is so private with things, which is some of the players' issue. They don't even announce like how you win or what you have to do. So Phil comes out and says, "Yeah, I won." And I don't know if he'd been told he won, and maybe they decided then to switch it up, considering he tried taking down the entire tour. But Tiger Woods, with one of the all-time best tweets, he retweets Phil's foolish tweet thanking his fans and himself for winning the PIP and just writes, "Whoops." Because Tiger Woods, without barely playing golf in 2022, all he did was release a video of a swing post-car accident that had about 40 million views in the first 3 minutes, wins the PIP. And really, Tiger should win all 5 spots that I think the PIP pays out. And just the way that he just throws it right in Phil's face with a phenomenal one-word tweet made me smile. And I think we also saw some quotes from players talking about Mickelson. Yeah, the whole world's starting to see what we've all known on tour for quite a while. That the
other guys have said that?
It was an anonymous
scumbag.
An anonymous quote is, "We've always known this. Now the rest of the world is finding out."
Wow.
It was an anonymous quote. Yeah.
That is a shame, man. That is just a shame.
That's why I don't worship fucking people who play sports for a living. No disrespect to you guys. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have heroes for sports people.
Yeah, I just want to circle back and thank DJ for his time, especially the 7 minutes I got to enjoy with him one-on-one, because Whit's a fucking goofball and can't afford internet. Maybe you should call All Business Pete up. Maybe he can help you out, Whit.
Actually, fuck all.
I was just glad it wasn't me.
Fuck All Business Pete. So let me tell everyone at home something.
This is another good one.
So this fucking idiot. So Barstool Sports, this amazing company that I'm so proud to work for, they buy employees laptops. Pretty sick deal, huh, folks? Yeah, your work buys you a laptop. It's an internet company. You would think so. Now, there's about 400 people that work full-time at Barstool right now. I would say, I don't know, 3% of them bring in the revenue that Spittin Chiclets does for the company. Is that correct, Granelli? Maybe 2 or 1%?
I would say less than that.
Okay.
I'd say 1%, if that.
So my laptop is about 5 years old. I paid for this one on my own. I was like, "Hey, G, can you get me a laptop from Barstool?" So he writes this moron, All Business Pete. He's like, "Hey, Whit needs a laptop. Can I just get you to okay it or whatever?" Nope. No laptops for non-full-time employees. You fucking idiot, All Business Pete. Use your brain for one time and maybe realize, okay, Ryan Whitney's part of Spittin Chiclets, which is part of our biggest moneymaker. So maybe we can get him a fucking $800 laptop, you scumbag. And I'm just kidding. All Business Pete's actually a great guy. I had to bust his balls. But Granelli called me. He's like, All Business Pete says no. I'm like, and All Business Pete doesn't give a shit who you are. I meet up with that guy. "Hey, Pete, how you doing?" "Fine." "Oh, okay, good conversation." But he didn't want the Whit Dog to have a laptop. I probably would have had to call in and do this episode from a telephone if I couldn't get Granelli to finally go above his head. And thank God for Erica Nardini, who helped me out and agreed to let one of the guys from Spittin Chiclets have a laptop. So All Business Pete, once again, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, everybody should really sympathize for Whit not being able to get a free laptop.
Poor guy. Whit, I got a question for you. We saw your pictures of you at Disney. I know you're still in Florida. I couldn't help but notice that you had a Mandalorian T-shirt on. You're not a Star Wars guy. You say you don't know it, and you had a fucking Mandalorian T-shirt. How did you get that? Do you know what it's about? Give us the.
No, I know that it's a show. I know it's a show that like Disney Plus or whatever has released. That's kind of like a TV show that is post Star Wars. I don't know, but my brother-in-law Steve and his son Cooper, I think he had like Disney Dad and like I'm your son or I'm your father. They had some sort of like T-shirts together. I was like, oh, Brie, we got to get a shirt for me and Ryder. And she had gotten Ryder some sort of Star Wars shirt, even though he has no clue and he watches Toy Story and Monsters Inc. and all the others. So she went to Target actually when we were recording the day when they all had to go be the pigeons and wait in line. And then the next day I had the fast pass. And so she got me the Mandalorian so it matched Ryder's shirt. So I could kind of be matching with my boy walking around the park. And I never talked about that day, did I? Because that day was so ridiculous. That VIP pass, you just walk around. We went to 3 parks and probably went on 20 rides, where I think if we hadn't had it, you probably would have got 1 park and 4 rides. So definitely the best money. I think that private jets are the most amazing thing in the world in terms of spending money until I got the VIP pass at Disney, because it is the best money I've ever spent and was a fantastic day with the family. And it's up to 10 people. So it's expensive, but you could split it up. And well, kids have no money. But if you want to do adults and be one of those weirdos that goes with no kids to Disney World, check out the VIP tour. That's the way to go.
We went from sympathizing for Whit on laptops to talking about PJs and VIP passes at Disneyland.
I thought Billy Guerin got in his ear while we were in Minnesota and talked him into being a Star Wars.
Maybe if you create a successful booze, they'll get you one.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe if I can someday bring $1 and some worth to Barstool Sports, I'll be able to get a new MacBook. But
maybe when you win a dog walk competition, they'll get you one.
Yeah. Maybe
2 for 2, I think. Although the voting hasn't come out yet, but I think I'll get a win on that dog walk.
Guys, I don't think I have much. Oh, you got some more?
So, no, just one more thing. I did mention that Boeing documentary on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It is infuriating and heartbreaking, but a great watch. And they do a great job of explaining some super confusing things in terms of jet manufacturing and planes. But oh my God, when you see what this company did and how much of scumbags whoever made the decisions are, you will want to throw up. So on Netflix, I think it's not called Boeing, but
I know it's a great doc. I'm so over like corporate malfeasance documentaries because you just get so fucking aggravated.
I know.
Them. It's like
I know
you get annoyed.
But
I've seen so many.
You know what
I
said?
Fuck them all.
You know what I said? Watching it is like, it's so wild. You see all these corporations that look to save money, and they just completely ruin their brand and ruin people's lives and
for money.
For money and the unreal when you see what Boeing and how good they did it, they were one of the best companies in the history of the United States of America. They were great. They did everything the right way and they tried to save money. But the thing I thought about while watching it is, the crazy thing is there are so many things going on right now that in 10 years, there'll be another documentary. There's shit going on. You have no idea. People trying to save money and screw with lives. But it was an interesting watch. And while being very sad, almost shocking to see what went down.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Aviation, different story. It's
exactly.
I watched it too. So the one thing on Netflix that caught my attention was, or do you want to keep talking about it already?
No, I'm all ears, buddy.
Okay.
I'm here. You guys close up. I don't give a fuck.
We've gone long. I'm going to save it for next one, but I really, really recommend watching the Yeezy documentary. It's a 3-part series.
I've watched part 1. It's good.
Yeah. I will say that, and I know that a lot of people out there, you're not crazy about Kanye and maybe some of the antics he's been up to over the last 3-4 years. I think mental health plays a major factor in all that. Episode 2 of that documentary was the best episode of a documentary that I've ever seen in my entire life. I suggest that you. Oh yeah, this is when he ends up making the full album of The College Dropout and how it was so hard for them to take him seriously as a rapper. They signed him originally to Rockefeller to do all the beats. I don't think they ever took him seriously as far as a rapper standpoint. He clawed his way to the top. I can understand why he has the chip on the shoulder that he does. Now, saying that, episode 3, you will really see as it starts turning a little bit to the darker side. But please watch that 3-part documentary series, and we're going to talk about it next show. I viewed that episode as something that, like, like when you finish watching it, you have a fire lit under your ass. I compare it to what it did to me to the Defiant Ones with Dr. Dre and Iovine.
Iovine, Jimmy Iovine. Yeah. Phenomenal documentary.
The first episode.
RA, I think you will gain a completely new appreciation for Kanye. I know you're like not crazy about it, but watch that, and I think your perception will change.
Yeah. You know, I'm very open-minded guy going into documentaries. I watch subjects I don't give a fuck about because that's the purpose of a documentary, to like open your mind and expand it a little and learn something you don't really care about. I will definitely watch it before the next episode. I have one for you guys and anybody listening. It's called Winning Time. It's the new LA Lakers miniseries on HBO. I can't wait
to see that.
It's based on the 1980s Lakers. It's a book. Jeff Pearlman, he's a great author. He used to write for Sports Illustrated. He wrote a book called Showtime about the 1980s Lakers. He wrote a book about the 86 Mets. He's a phenomenal biographer. He wrote a book on Walter Payton. He just does all this research for years, reads up on everything, and he writes a great book. And it got optioned by HBO. So the first episode dropped Sunday night, and the guy plays Magic Johnson, and it's fucking phenomenal. It's just like, okay, this trippy show about the greatest fucking basketball team ever, arguably. I mean, they won 5 titles in the 80s. Magic Johnson gets disrespected. If honestly, and it's a weird thing to say, if he didn't get AIDS or get HIV rather, he would have won fucking 9 titles, and he would have been past Magic and past LeBron. He was that fucking good. He should be more in this discussion. But either way, the fucking story is awesome. The Lakers are great. And this show, the first episode was phenomenal. The book was awesome. So if you're looking for something to watch.
RA, any truth to the rumor that he wasn't happy with the way that he was portrayed in it?
Who, Magic or?
Magic.
Well, Jeff Pearlman said that a lot of people with the Lakers haven't talked to him since because, probably not happy with their portrayals. Like Jerry West, who was the Lakers coach, GM, or whatever, he kind of looks like a grumpy asshole. I'm sure people who are related to him aren't crazy about it, but that's what happens when you're a famous person and something gets made about you. I haven't heard that Magic was pissed about it, but I mean, he was a philanderer, and that's why he caught AIDS. I'm sorry, the virus that causes AIDS, because he was fucking everything under the sun. Didn't wear rubber at a time when you thought heterosexuals could get AIDS. And Biz, I'll tell you, man. That was 1991. I'll never forget. I was 19 years old, and I was already an Irish kid in Boston. Trying to get laid off girls in this town was tough enough because they're all Catholic and they didn't believe in the birth control pill. So now all of a sudden, everyone thinks AIDS is like a quote unquote gay disease, and then Magic Johnson comes out and is like, "Oh, I'm heterosexual." So it was like, fuck, man, it just made it so much harder for everybody to try to get ass back then. It was a really huge cultural thing. I'm not even being insensitive. It was like the whole it was like groundbreaking. Like.
It must have been petrifying time.
Thanks
in history,
a lot,
too.
Magic.
Hey, by the way, in that book, is that where it came out that, or I don't know if I've heard this and it's not true, but like where Magic Johnson would just be having somebody go around to like hawk girls in the stands at the games at the Great Western Forum and be like, "Hey, Magic wants to meet you at halftime," and he'd be like teeing girls up at halftime.
At halftime?
Yeah, I don't know if that's made up, but this team was.
I heard a story of a backup goalie in the National League getting a gummer.
I know that story.
At the old Coliseum. He was, how they sit in the tunnel there, kind of like the guy got punched with the Manitoba Moose game. Well, could you imagine just chilling there as the backup goalie having a hot dog, and next thing you know, a girl in the crowd, you lock eyes with her, and then you're getting your dick sucked up your torso during the period.
And then the goalie pulls his groin, and you got to run in with blue balls. It'd be a disaster. Guys,
one more. Sorry, wait. I got to throw this.
Who else are you going to blame at the fact you couldn't get laid in the 80s? All right.
No, who said I didn't get laid? I just said I made it difficult. I never said I didn't get laid.
Whoa, jeez.
I said Magic made it difficult. But what happened was, Biz, like it really was like I actually took one AIDS test in my life. It was a girl I was dating. And like that's how much of a scare it was at the time, where she didn't want to sleep with me until I got an AIDS test. And I went and I was like, I don't fucking have AIDS. I didn't think about it at all. And then if I went in to get my results for that 5 minutes, I was shitting my pants like a motherfucker. And they're like, "Yeah, you're all set." I was like, "Oh, all right, good." But like, it was a legit fucking like thing at that time where Magic getting it had a huge impact on motherfuckers getting their dicks wet.
It's one way to end the show.
All right, gang. As always, I want to remind you to go to our YouTube page and subscribe to it. We have awesome stuff there. My boy Granelli, he busts his ass. Sean busts his ass. Everybody behind the scenes bust their ass to make these awesome videos. Pasha, don't want to leave you out either. Subscribe to the stuff. Watch it. It's awesome. Good stuff.
All right. And with that, we love you all. And thank you for listening. Peace.